Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics. What kind of man are you anyway? I'm talking comics and you bring up chicks and romance?
This week's issue, and I'm just like, this is more of the same. You know what I mean? Like there's literally a part in Avengers Armageddon 3 where Colton, like the Captain America, has the Sentry powers now. He starts going around the world throwing nukes into the sun because he's like, you guys are all too violent. I'm gonna finally do something about it. And a bunch of protests break out in front of Avengers Tower. It's like pro nuke, anti nuke, or what, yada 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 yada. And there's a scene of like Johnny Storm and Spider-Man watching over the crowd. Here, I can even bring it up now that we are live. Don't worry, guys. I'll say hello to you in a second. This is pertinent right now. So, where is it in this issue? Yeah, right here. So, Spidey. Oh, I think I can also share to you in Discord. Can I do that these days? I think.
Probably.
I can. Yeah, look at that. I can get you like directly into the program. That's kind of nice. So, I think you should be able to pull it up and have it all HD and nice there instead of having to look on YouTube. Yeah? We're
I
good?
can, in fact, see it.
Woo! It's beautiful. But on this page, you see like there's protests up there, and then Spider-Man and Johnny are talking about like, I get it. They're they're powerless. We're people with like the powers of gods. We do whatever we want. And Spidey's like, we don't need another registration act, but how do we make it so people aren't scared of us, of what we'll do? And then Johnny just flies away saying like, well, if we have these powers, we have a responsibility to use them. Which is like, okay, narratively fine.
Okay, so yeah, what the Marvel heroes do every day?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Like, this is one of those plot lines, like so much of what Marvel's doing lately, where you already played that card.
Oh,
you already danced that number. You don't get to do that one again.
And guys, right, what led to this is we were talking right before we went live about the Chip Zdarsky, Marco Cicchetto Avengers relaunch that's coming, what, November, December or something?
October, I think.
October, yeah, pretty soon. Yeah. In case you guys haven't seen, it's
essentially after Queen and Black ends.
After Queen of Black, like Queen and Black and Avengers Armageddon end at the same time, and it's supposed to be like, you sent me the thing earlier where it was like, this is the same like it's the new era for the Avengers, and I'm like, I don't care. We've been here. The new lineup.
New era. Everything old is new again.
That's kind of what like Marvel does best. We've talked about that before, but it's getting egregious because if you guys go watch a couple episodes back, maybe like a month or two, there was a episode where I talked to Andrew about the first issue of Avengers Armageddon, and I was like, okay, this isn't bad. I can see what they're going for, but it's starting to feel a little Bendis-y, right? And that's not bad, but we know Chip Zdarsky gave a bunch of interviews where he's like, look, my whole mission with these books is that Marvel doesn't have like a captain right now. There's nobody steering that ship. Everybody is just swinging.
And it's true.
It's very, very true. So Chip was like, well, we're going to try and unify everything under a narrative again. And just like Bendis did. And Andrew and I were like, yeah, that's, you know what? If you can do it, that's great. We really do need that. And yeah, you're doing it, but then you're just doing Bendis again to the point where those Avengers have Carol and Spider-Man, Wolverine, Daredevil, Luke Cage. It's basically the new Avengers minus Sentry. Is Captain America even on the team?
No, I didn't see him in the lineup. So I saw, was it
Can't remember.
Daredevil, Danvers,
it.
Spidey, Wolverine,
Cage.
Yeah, I can't think of anybody else.
It's Luke Cage. Luke Cage is the one you're missing there. But
Luke. Yeah. You're right.
Here, yeah,
which is an interesting lineup, and I'm kind of here for it, especially the potential. Like Chip Zdarsky, you probably don't watch this show. You should. But lean into like the mid 2000s era Avengers in terms of Peter and Carol's like chemistry.
You right.
Give me that. You don't need to ship them together or anything.
Yes, you do.
But like,
if you're not going to give me MJ, you're going to give me Carol, and you're going to give me Peter.
I mean, neither of them is with anybody right now, right? So I guess you could do that, but like, do that,
we
and
just
you could
saw
have
Shay for the
really
first time in like a year and a half, like an issue ago. So yeah, I think they're both single.
Did we? I guess.
I don't even remember where it was. I remember you and I were talking. We're like, holy shit! Remember Shay? She like they just name dropped her for the first time in. Oh, it's in one of the issues with the cousin or nephew or whatever, where Peter's like getting his life back together, and he's like, should I text Shay? No, she hates me or whatever. And it's like, whoa, he remembers that she existed. That's crazy. Good for you, Peter.
I guess somebody has to remember she existed because I sure didn't.
Ugh. Better just thrown to the heap of Marvel history. But yeah, this lineup has potential. Like, it's missing a bunch of, how do I put this? It doesn't feel like what you think of when you think of like all hands on deck, Earth's mightiest heroes, right? And you can tell that by the tagline of Earth's mightiest survivors. But I don't know what that means. I don't know anything that's going to spin out. Like, in this week's issue of Armageddon, where we end is just Cole starts fighting everybody. Everybody goes like, you got Colton, you got to stop. You're going over the top. And he goes, no. And they start fighting. That's it. Oh, and S.H.I.E.L.D. is back. And S.H.I.E.L.D. is now back as an explicitly anti-superhuman like organization. Like, it's not just like in defense of the United States now. Now Fury Jr. is running it against every superhuman.
I was about to say, like, that's one of those things again, this goes back to like you not being able to play that dance card multiple times. Like, you already played hey, people see all of the superhumans in our universe as dangerous and bad by default, so we have to do something to address that. You already played that card. We did Civil War. You tried doing it twice. We don't get to do that again.
And yet that's what we're doing again. So I'm just at this point, I don't even know what to say at this point. Like, yes, I want to see what maybe Chip and Marco have to offer, but I'm also...
Chip can write.
I know
when he's got the right mindset and when he's got the right project, he can do good stuff. Like, not all of his Batman stuff is gold, but he has some cool stuff in there too.
Absolutely.
He also had some decent Spider-Man stuff in the past as well.
But we also know, like, his Fantastic Four was a little wonky. The events he's written, he's not bad. Andrew was right. He's one of the, I don't want to say he's like a coin flip writer.
This isn't like putting Tom Taylor on something, guys.
No, it's not
where it's like, I'm just not touching it.
I think
this is like, show me something to interest me enough to be willing to check it out.
I think what we're seeing with Chip's writing here is that he's doing that thing you and I kind of talk about all the time, where he's trying so hard to do something in specific, like in particular, that he's kind of forgetting his own sauce, right? He's like, I got to get Marvel back to a place where we can all play together, and I'm trying to do it after Bendis. And you do that, which is good. Okay, you have your mission, but you're Chip Zdarsky. Like, we want you to write it, not a cheap Bendis like knockoff, right? Not that he is, but like we don't want you to just try and copy Bendis. We want you.
I wonder if, and this is partially because I know he's friends with Scott Snyder, and I know this because they've been on a number of Snyder's Substack podcast things that I'm subscribed to. The Our Best Jacket. It's his like comic book.
Except it's not even like a
scripting.
podcast. Yeah, it's like a class.
It's essentially a class, but it's got a bit of a podcast vibe to it.
Yeah.
It's super casual. And it's enjoyable.
But I don't think like
because
halfway through he's like, all right, hold on a second. If you enjoyed Batman, you're going to enjoy saving 15% with HelloFresh, right? Like I don't know.
Yeah, no. It's nothing like that. No, nothing like that. No ad breaks. But I think there's a possibility that because of what he's seen Scott be able to do over at DC, which is, though he's not connected so much to the mainline, Earth Prime stuff right now, Scott has been able to unify at least a section of DC's publishing line to immense success, right? And DC is hand over fist eating Marvel's lunch week after week, especially if there is a freaking Absolute book that week, right? And so Zdarsky is probably thinking like, somebody needs to do this for
Marvel,
the former House of Ideas, right? Like,
but then
somebody's got to get this ship, straightened out.
And here's another thing. And guys, I promise I'll get into our normal role in a second. I'll say hi to everybody. 1 second. Just we're on this now. But okay. Yes, former House of Ideas. You saying that reminds me of like, you make that quip all the time of, it's House of Status Quo now. And we talk about how like Marvel's love of status quo is so intense that like we can't get anything going, right? Like we'll talk about it later, but we're right up like in a month or two we're gonna go right back to we are Venom, Eddie Brock, Lethal Protect, and it's like what really? And to that point of like no longer a House of Ideas, have you heard any of the rumors and leaks going up, or like? I don't know if there are leaks yet, but the strong rumors that are coming out about the end of Armageddon.
Oh, no. I don't know nothing about Armageddon, dude.
Don't worry. This wasn't like anything you would have had to like read solicits for or anything. I asked because it's something people on Twitter, like, our spheres are talking about, so maybe it came through your feed. But the current reigning theory, rumor, leak, whatever you want to call it, information is that this whole Armageddon series is building up to introduce Miracle Man, the Alan Moore character, into the Marvel Universe, into 616. And to my point, what does that sound like, Andrew? A comic book company does a line-wide resetting miniseries that ends with an omnipotent, like, Alan Moore creation being mixed into main continuity. It is Doomsday Clock. It is Marvel Doomsday Clock. And
which I will remind you and the chat didn't go well for DC.
Did not go well for DC. Like,
there were some genuinely good moments in that event, but its release schedule was so abysmal. It was constantly behind.
I could go for another hour on like my favorite Superman moment there. But
it's incredible. And that is a quintessential Superman moment, but it just didn't land.
They just so for those of you who didn't know, Doomsday Clock was supposed to be like, this is the new status quo, we're resetting DC, like, let's get into it. The publishing schedule went wild, really, really fast. And what should have been like a once a month for a year, 12-month or 12-issue series became like a 4-year fucking endeavor of like, oh, you'll get 2 issues this year. Oh, you got 1 next year. Maybe, oh, check it out, you got 4 in a row. You're not going to hear about it until the very, like, it was bad to the point where...
Yeah, it may as well, it was Hush 2 before Hush 2.
It was, and, like, DC had to basically just, like, steamroll over it.
Hush 2 before Hush 2 was actually, this piece of crap.
Oh, God. Okay, that's not as bad as Hush 2. I don't know. Yes, it's a piece of crap.
This thing was off,
it's bad.
This thing was off schedule.
Oh, in that term. Oh, okay.
In that, man. Not in terms of like bad storytelling. It has problems.
Yeah.
It's like, kind of it's a guilty pleasure. It has problems, but it also has some really fun stuff too. But in terms of like scheduling and being on schedule and hitting deadlines, this wasn't it. This didn't do that very well. And it never, according to sources, it never truly finished.
It didn't.
Like, there was supposed to be like another 2 issues or something to this.
There were. And Andrew, so this
also actually.
Huh? What are you pulling out? Or are you just going for me?
No, I was.
No, actually, in terms of killing things, that also killed DC's All-Star attempts because they did All-Star Superman. It was fantastic. Everybody loved it. They went, all right, well, we put Morrison and Quietly on that, so let's get another crazy good team, right? So they went Frank Miller and Jim Lee. On paper, could have been a lot. And then Frank just kind of was like, oh, I kind of don't care anymore. And I'm torn, Andrew, because part of me is like, come on, man. Like, you're a comic professional. We love this medium. You got to have some respect there. But then he's also, like, such a veteran old head that I can see him getting the assignment of, like, can you do, like, refresh Batman and Robin? And he's like, haven't I done this, like, 3 times? Fuck it. Like, whatever. Okay. I'll do it in between, like, lines of cocaine. Like, whatever.
I can, with him, probably. Like, I can understand the sentiment, but you're still at the end of the day a professional, and so I don't care if you've been doing this gig for 4 years or 40. Like, you take a gig, you give 100%, right? It's one of those, and that's not 100% of like your Coke binge, which is what this was.
Yeah, and like that, and that's
but
where
it does
torn,
have
right?
Freaking gorgeous Jim Lee art, man. This was,
and like you said,
this was Jim Lee at his finest. I would go so far. Yeah, I would go so far as to say that visually, this book's better than Hush.
1000%. If not for
and Hush is pretty.
If not for the sole fact that in like Hush has that early 2000s Jim Lee graphic like blue tint overlay to all of its art. You kind of know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like, you know what Zack Snyder did with everything in the DCEU, how he had like that grayscale and sometimes maybe some sepia. Yeah,
yes,
Hush,
blue. Yeah.
Hush does that, except it's like this weird blue grayscale thing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Hold that back up to the camera. It's like those colors. The like green and blue behind Hush right there, right? But in All-Star, didn't have that. It was just like pure, like shading and lighting didn't exist. So it was just colorful, right? Like I have a soft spot for it because that was another one of those books. You've heard the stories millions of times. When I was getting back into comics and the comic store owner was just like, here, try this out. You might like it. And it was that issue. And, so a little soft spot, but.
You might like something written by a Coke fiend.
You might. I mean, maybe that. All the best comics, man, I'm going to have to say, like, you didn't. I saw this. I keep seeing this post going around because with all the discussion about the Elder Scrolls 6 title leaked like earlier this week or something, and everybody was talking about it. And if you guys don't know, the lead writer for like Morrowind wrote the entire like 65-page Bible for the fucking series in a weekend because all he did was he locked himself in his apartment and he took a bunch of mushrooms. And he just locked and they found him because Todd Howard was like, the guy hasn't shown up for work in like 4 days. Where is he? And so Todd Howard personally went to his house, found him on the like kitchen floor, like but like next to him was like almost like a movie, right? Like just like here's Elder Scrolls for all of you. So who knows? Either way.
That's funny.
Well, first, before I take this page away, I did want to highlight this, Andrew, because this is just kind of funny to me. He just takes Wolverine into the atmosphere and just, like, lets him drop. Right? He's just like, I got to get you off the board, and he just lets him go. And I'm like, okay.
I mean, he'll be fine, but he might be out of commission for a little bit.
But I was just like, I like when people have ridiculous ways to take Wolverine off the board, because it's really hard to take him off the board. But instead of taking things off the board, guys, let's get to properly saying hello, properly kicking off this episode of Foil Variant. It is Thursday night. My name is Spencer Bakuli. You might also know me as Mav. I am joined by my co-host, one of my best friends, my bro, Andrew Caffeinated Wolf Rodriguez. How are you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. There was,
got your wine?
I've got my wine. Well, I'm about to pour another glass. But it was a interesting week for comics. My favorite book, my book of the week was Absolute Flash. That should tell you everything about this week.
I need to also emphasize this point, guys. Not only is Andrew's favorite book of this week Absolute Flash, but he also willingly was like, damn, I missed out on a Carmine de Giacontanto or whatever his name is.
Something Italian.
Cover. The guy who him and Scott Collins are the two guys we explicitly don't like when they draw Flash. And I was like, did you get the right is that the one you're talking about? And he's like, I know.
For some reason, I really like that piece.
It was really good. Here, I'm gonna pull it up for everybody. It's not a bad cover.
I can't say the same thing about anything that Scott Collins has ever drawn, though. Personally, I know people who really genuinely, sincerely like his art. I'm just not one of them. Everybody's got artists that they don't like.
I think he's done for Marvel. Didn't he do a big, either for Avengers or the end of Krakoa? It was that big 6 cover connecting set, but it's just everybody standing next to each. It's not dynamic or anything. It's just kind of the toy lineup, type of thing. So that's cool. I can admire that for the intricacy and the detail. It's not necessarily I want you to draw everything, but that's pretty cool. But yes, Andrew, I can see why Andrew this is a good cover. I wanted to, this was one of the thumbnail choices we picked, and it's crazy. Sometimes even the artists we don't like or the writers we don't like can produce a hit. But besides,
I will say this, it bothers me continuity-wise that his lightning is white there, because in Absolute Flash, his lightning has strictly and solely
been yellow, red.
That red with the yellow
blocks.
Outline.
Yeah.
Right.
And I mean, they're getting better with it, I think, Andrew, but this just goes back to that problem we've always talked about, which is can somebody please decide what Wally is supposed to look like? Is he a teenager? Is he an adult? Is his suit red? Is it orange? Hopefully
within this issue, he's drawn with a different body type in multiple
It bums
pages.
me out too, because it's Nick Robles, and we talk about this every time. He's not a bad artist, but for whatever
not
reason,
at all.
he just never his Flash is not delivering. I was sad that it wasn't our anime artist for this week's issue. I was genuinely bummed that they were gone. But yeah, so obviously we'll talk about a little bit Absolute Flash tonight. And then honestly, guys, we kind of went into Avengers Armageddon right there. I read a couple more than Andrew did, but there's not a lot else to talk about outside of Queen in Black. So we'll definitely be hitting the Absolute Flash. Then we'll get into the 2 issues of Queen in Black we got tonight, Queen in Black 3 proper, and Queen in Black Defenders of Light and Dark. But kind of a little bit of a weird season we're in, where I feel like this is the 3rd week in a row now, where you and I were kind of there's things to talk about, but are we super holy shit, this is crazy? I guess we did it with Absolute Batman last week, but that's Absolute Batman. That's not fair. Of course that's always going to happen.
Absolute. That's kind of just the baseline for Absolute.
I was talking to some of the guys at my the cashiers at my comic book store, and we were talking about somebody sold a 9.9 Absolute Batman #1, so 9.9 graded for $4,000, something crazy. And so I was standing there when they said it, and all of us were like, dang, that's wild. I was telling them how I've got a couple #1s just sitting in the bags and boards, and those are worth $400 on their own. And they brought up this point of this, and I think I agree with them. This book, just it's only gonna go up. I don't really know. There will be a ceiling like there is with everything, but we've got a movie on the way. I feel we're gonna get a video game at some point, right? The second they announced,
Scott is going to be at
Batman.
and this was just announced. Scott's actually also going to be at Dallas Fan Expo in September.
Wait, who is?
Scott.
At Dallas Fan Expo.
Yeah.
Isn't that smaller?
Yeah. I mean, it's not small.
No.
But it's not a big con.
Yeah. So.
It's not. It's not MegaCon. It's a bit bigger than, say, SpaceCon.
Oh, Okay. Bell County, probably a little bit bigger than that.
And it's bigger than Bell County, but it's still like in a completely different tier from things like MegaCon and
Right.
Things
but
like
the
that.
fact that he's making like all of these appearances, like we don't see this a lot anymore, right? Like maybe since the days
I gotta find out whatever his like booth or signing schedule is, so I can get mine signed and then slabbed and then framed.
I was just thinking today, like before we got on, I was like, I'm a little not pressed for funds, but I don't have a lot of funds rolling in actively because I'm still looking for a job. But I was like, might be worth it to go get Absolute Batman #1 like CGC graded. Like it just feels like that's gonna be a pertinent move. You know what I mean? Like so wild with that. But I think wow, this is a weird spot. I don't know why. I feel like I was setting up a transition. I don't have a transition to set up. But I guess before we get into anything, Andrew, I'm very sorry you didn't get it, but this thing
I finally did a Daikruon.
They did Daikruon in foil, but I'm sorry, like I wish I could show properly without lights, without like this thing is beautiful, dude. The blue, the way it like radiates, you hold this thing and you're just like, wow. It is a crime that Dyke does not get every cover in foil. Because I think I landed on what it is about his style that you and I are just so like, it needs to be foiled, right? Is that it's the way he does detail, where he does it a little like, see here, maybe I can show all you guys. You can see like how it's a little like sketchy where the light's coming off of his, like Virgil's hands instead of like straight actual lines. It's like blending into, his pants or whatever to give it a little bit like little natural. Those little details, and then the cleanness of just like the figures, because like look at Virgil's face, right? Like there's not a lot of extra going on. It's almost like a Dan Mora clean. So I think like it's the thing where it's like the characters are very bold themselves, and then the details make it look like sketchy rough, but then you put that onto foil and it like fights against, because sometimes you foil something and it just looks like, okay, you put like shine on the regular cover art, right? But with Dyke, it feels like, I don't know, like it was meant for it. Like you go, oh, that is comic book art, but foiled. I don't know. I'm gushing. It's great. There was also a Peach Momoko cover. So that's all I got this week. Oh, and of course, we've always got to support. We had a new compact release this week.
Oh yeah, Batman and Son. I almost grabbed that.
I figured it's probably not one you're gonna jump on.
I am going to. That one's on my list to get at some point. It just wasn't like I need it right now, because I actually had like 6 books in my stack this week. Because there was a new Darkness, there was a new Lady Mechanica, and then there was Uncanny X-Men, which I'm still behind on now by like 4 issues, but I'm still getting it, at least for now. Once I get caught up on that, I'll see if I want to keep it that way or not.
I need you to catch up on it, and we'll talk about it, because I think there's a lot to talk about that you've missed out on so far.
Yeah, I've had to like triage.
I only had 2 physicals, so I was like, you know what? I can do 10 for, supporting compacts, because remember, guys, this is it. This is gonna win everything. This is so smart, and yet Marvel doesn't want to listen. Marvel doesn't want to do any of it. It's so absurd to me. But
they used a different paper quality. They did different dimensions, different pricing. It was just
now though, and I learned that they're now doing normal like sized ones. And there's 2 different lines now. So there's Marvel Compact and then there's Marvel Premiere. And that's the bigger like compact. Don't even get me started. And their compacts,
just do it right the first time. Like that's,
or like don't make 2 lines. Just go, oh, we fucked up at the beginning and we're gonna, streamline it or whatever. So the other thing I can, give them big credit for, which is insane because it's Marvel. So these covers. These are pretty good, right? Like very bold text, uncovered image of the like first cover or relevant cover. The Marvel ones do like brand new full page like splash art covers that are like really nice and really cool, and it like feels different. And I'm like, hey, that's a good way to differentiate yourself from your competitor, right? Like DC does it all like kind of staunchy and stuffy, and now you go.
And some of their cover choices are kind of bad.
Some of their cover choices are really, really bad.
For the compact, some of them are like, wow, why would you? The Batman White Knight one.
Batman White Knight one is weird because it's just almost like a blank thing, and then it's the
with a Superman Birthright that was also a bad one.
It's the John Byrne one they're doing, the Man of Steel one, because they did like the they did the zoom in on his like chest, but you also see like the explosion of Krypton in the background because they cropped it weird.
Yeah.
Instead of doing the full body like Clark opening his suit, and it's just like, why did you guys? I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
That one should have been an easy choice, but you know what?
Should have been
their marketing department, I'm sure, is led by someone far more educated than I, allegedly.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. Remember, this is kind of what you and I always talk about, more in terms of video games, right? Like, remember, these companies, these publishers aren't owned or run by people who think like us anymore, or people who are in the know of what they're actually dealing with. Like, David Zaslav took over Warner Brothers. He doesn't know movies. He doesn't know entertainment. He was from like corporate finance for Verizon. And so, yes, they're educated.
And that may work there.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
But it's a different beast in a creative industry.
Right. And what works for one audience might not work for another audience. I mean, that's why YouTube has A/B testing on thumbnails, right? So ridiculous there. But before we properly get into everything, let's say hello to everybody who has stopped by the chat so far. I've actually seen that we have a pretty decent audience lurking right now. I see all of you guys. I'm glad you are joining us for this evening's foil variant. I hope you stick around. Maybe drop a chat. Either way, we're here to entertain. But kicking things off, we had Punk, who unfortunately stopped by. Good night and goodbye, my friends. It happens. I know we started about an hour later tonight. Andrew and I just had to take care of some things. It's been a busy day, but I know that will result in maybe not aligning with somebody's schedules. Hopefully you catch us in a VOD, Punk, but always glad to have you. We have Reginald Barclay with the Sparks and Bolts catchphrase, which I actually understand now, and now I don't look like an idiot trying to go, what does that mean? What's the inside joke that I don't know?
Yeah.
We have
Mary
get it
now.
Stopping by the chat. I do get it now. I'm in on the joke. We have Mary stopping by through the Room of Requirement account. Guys, go follow that account. That is Andrew and Mary's Harry Potter lore channel. They are producing. They are ramping up ahead of December. We will obviously tell you more about it. If you're a longtime viewer, you know what it is. But here, let me grab the link real quick. I know I have it sitting around here for just such an occasion. Ba-ba-ba-bum. Where is it? Where is it? Where? There it is. There it is. I found it. Bump, 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 bump. And I can post it right here. Yay! Everybody go! Everybody go! Subscribe to Room of Requirement. We'll remind you at the end of the show to do that as well. Also, go pre-order Arc Stream False Start number 2. Links down below. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit as well. But I wanted to go back real quick. Mary stops by. She says she just wanted to stop by, say hello, see Andrew's hair. Mary, if you are around or you happen to stop by again, I wanted to ask you, because for those who don't know, the first episode of the HBO Max DCU Lantern series came out this past weekend. I know Andrew, for good reason. If you've watched the show, you know that Andrew and I were very apprehensive. It's a show written by Damon Lindelof and Tom King. What we saw wasn't embracing what like Green Lantern is, space cop craziness. It was like, oh, we're on Earth? Like, what are we doing here? But I know Mary happened to give it a shot, and she told Andrew that she enjoyed it. Honestly, it was off of Mary saying like she enjoyed it that I went, all right, I'll watch it. And I don't know if I'd say I liked it, but it was interesting. I'm intrigued, I guess. So I actually wanted to just like, I wish she was already moved in with you so that she could have like just a quick cameo right now, because I wanted to see what it was from like a non-GL obsessive, right? Like what was it that she liked about that? I don't want to say like Mary's the casual audience, but she's the more casual audience. You know what I mean? So I would have loved to see,
at least in terms of not being super
like
in depth
books,
with the comics.
Yeah. So I would have loved to have been like, what did you like about it, right? So maybe she's around, maybe she'll stop by later. Either way, let's keep on rolling. We've got our boy Subhuman. He says, does Mav get teary-eyed when reading ASM 248? I don't even remember what issue that is. Let me look. ASM 248 is Thunderball? That can't be right. Why would I? Oh, it's it's the kid who collects Spider-Man. That's the other one. That's the other story in there where he goes to the kid who has cancer, who wants to meet Spider-Man, and he talks with him, and he shows him he's Peter Parker, and then the kid dies. I haven't read that story in a long time, but I think so. I don't know. I don't know about you guys. I'll say this as like a guy, right? Like, obviously, you grow up, you learn to handle your emotions. You don't like express them out. Sometime in the last like 10 years. Oh, okay, this is sad, but I think it was when my dad died. I started finally being like, oh, I'm just gonna like everything hits now. So back then I read this story and I was like, yeah, that's really sad. Like, wow, that tugs on heartstrings. If I read it now, I might. I genuinely might. I know that I cry. I do cry. I'll admit this. When I read the story, I don't even remember who wrote it. I don't want to. It may have even been Zeb Wells, and I swear to God, it might. Like, I better not have been. But it's the Spider-Man story where it opens on like he's swinging. It's all like wordless. Like he's swinging on the New York skyline, and there's like a homeless woman who like sees him, and she's like super excited. And then it turns out she's like a big Spider-Man fan, and she has all of his pictures in like her cardboard box, and it unfolds as like Spidey meets her and takes her on this adventure. But then we learn that in reality, like she died, and Spider-Man found her and like brought her body to the hospital, and it's like. It's super sad, and I definitely cry over that one. So, yes, Subhuman, to answer a question. Let's see. We had Timon for a second, but unfortunately his football team, the Corinthians, are playing, so he will catch us on another one, I suppose. But that is everybody who has showed up so far and chatted. I know I see a bunch of you lurking. Otherwise, or not otherwise, but with that, Andrew, what do you say we jump into some comic books?
Well, let's jump into some comic books.
Where would you like to start this evening, my friend?
All right. I can't believe these words are actually going to come out of my mouth. I want to end on a high note, so we'll end with Absolute Flash.
Andrew is saying this as like the worst scene in like Venom history is like unfolding on the TV behind me. Like this is... I don't know what universe did I wake up on today?
Oh God!
Well, I put this on because we're gonna talk Queen in Black, and this is the most like visually interesting Venom movie. But then, like as you say that, I woke up in like 1610, right? Like I don't know what happened last night when I went to bed, but I don't recognize.
I don't know what happened.
The world I live in now is not the one I remember. But with that, then. Let's start with some Queen in Black. Andrew, do you want to start in the main book or do you want to start in the Defenders? Because
let's go by reading order. So we'll start in the main book. Which actually, I wanted to ask you.
Yes.
Does your copy say to be concluded at the end, like on the final page?
Not in Queen in Black 3, but in Defenders of Light and Dark 2, it does.
Okay, maybe I'm misremembering and mixing up which one said that, because I could have sworn that Queen in Black 3 said to be concluded on the final page, and I'm like, isn't this a 5-issue?
It's a 5. That's something I wanted to talk about. So, and that's why I'm a little confused. Or like that's where
I'm
like
a little annoyed too, because we haven't had almost any involvement of Null and Hela.
Well, okay, so let's get into Queen in Black. You guys have probably seen. I mean, it's only been. Marvel is rushing this thing. It's kind of wild. I
think they're trying to rush it out before the Zdarsky Avengers.
I think
run.
You're right.
I think that's what it is.
And I also think there is nothing in the comics right now, like, let me make that clear. That makes me go, like, that's a direct Avengers Doomsday synergy, right? Like, that's not what I'm saying, but I feel like there's something they have on their plate that maybe relates to, like, Daredevil, Logan, and Spider-Man and Carol, that, like, maybe there's movie synergy, or maybe they just want it to get, like, I don't know, but I feel like Doomsday has some role to play in this, right? I just don't know what it is yet. But yeah, we've gone 3 weeks, 3 issues. We don't even have that many tie-ins for this miniseries.
No, because there's the what's it called? The Hella one was only a one shot, right? I think the Hella one was only a one shot.
And so was, I think we're getting a Spider-Man, but that's a one shot. And then we have some Venom tie-in issues. And that's...
Hold on.
Here, right here.
I'll pull it up on the Comic Geeks right now.
We have Venom, Defenders of Light,
Venom
Unchained. That's the one we're missing. That's an actual, like, mini.
Yeah, we had an issue 1 of that already. Yeah. And there's a Black Cat tie-in, but that's just Black Cat number 14.
With the best cover. I can't wait for it, honestly. I want that cover so bad. That's
a throwback sci-fi cover.
Yeah, I want that one. So she's got, I love it so much, Andrew. She's got, like, the bubble helmet, but then, like, her spacesuit is, like, skin exposed, right? Like, nonsensical, like, 50s, 60s. It's so good. It's so good.
I don't remember seeing this before. There's an epilogue, The Amazing Venom number 1. Okay. Sure. Why not?
That's literally what I was gonna say. Sure.
Okay.
Part of me hopes that is one of those, like, epilogue issues that doesn't really have to do with anything, but I hope it goes to, like, it's one of those, like, it should focus on Boomerang, right? Because he's that, well, he's got that Venom. No, he's got that Venom symbiote spider thing right now. Remember I showed you guys Web of, like, Venom or something from a couple. Here, I can pull up a picture.
Oh, that's right.
Everybody's gonna know. I story timed it for everybody in Cavuto in our server, which you guys can, in our Discord server. You guys can all join it down below. But I story timed it specifically because I was like, I can't believe that this was as enjoyable of an issue as it was. This one. Yeah. So he's still around there. We haven't seen him. I would enjoy if it was just like a one shot of him dealing with his little, like, Fallout corner pocket of this event, right? Like, that would be fun to me. Otherwise, I don't know. I'll read it. It will be an issue. But back to Queen in Black number 3. On the note of it kind of rolling, we're in week 3, issue 3. We're almost done. I'm so confused, Andrew, because I don't know where anything takes place.
It feels kind of directionless right now, which I hate to say because I have so much faith in Al Ewing usually.
I do too.
But this event, I don't know where I am.
Check this out, guys. So, week 1, we got Defenders of Light and Dark number 1. And we got issue 1. In issue 1, we, like, Captain Alliance lands, everybody gathers, and we learn about the symbiote threat. Or the Hela and Null threat. Then we go into, if that same week you read Defenders of Light and Dark, you see Cable and Iron Man executing their, like, Team Dark and Team Light mission after, like, explaining it for 1 page. Then you read Queen in Black number 2, and it opens with Cable and Tony setting up the plan to assemble the Light and Dark heroes.
Yeah, it seems like each issue seems to jump us back to before the event.
But then we get to Defenders of Light and Dark 2 this week, and it ends with, like, Null and Hela going, like, all right, it's time to bring this, like, all right, like, I'm going for the big dog now. Like, I'm through with this. Let's end it. And I'm like, what? You guys haven't even said any. You're still in your battles, like, you're still in your like, general seats, right? Like, they
haven't done anything yet. Like,
you haven't seen anything.
Well, Null has been fighting at least, like, one of the Avengers squads.
Let me correct that. He's fighting them on the moon, right? But that's not like the Earth engagement yet. He hasn't done that. He hasn't appeared on Earth.
Correct. And we haven't gotten the Hela versus Null bit yet, which I better see for the majority of issue 5. But even if that's the case, where's the build up to that?
And then,
like, is issue 4 going to be all build up?
Well, speaking of build up, right? Like we talked, I don't remember if we talked on the show or after the show about the Thor, Queen in Black Thor, and how, because you didn't really understand Sigurd, but then I told you, and you're like, oh, okay, it all makes sense. But you and I were both like, there's a bit in that issue with Hela where she is like trying to test Thor, right? In his new, like, she doesn't know he's Thor or whatever, but she's like trying to get him to see like he accepts death, but also be like, why do you guys hate death so much? Like, why do you war against death? And it essentially ends with Thor being like, it's not death that we hate, it's just the fact that it is the end to life, right? Like it can bring peace, but it also brings like such immense sadness. And Hela kind of like, we get this moment of Hela being like, that's kind of like why I'm waging this war, right? Like just to come into the warmth again. Because referencing how back in, ancient cultures, we had more reverence and respect for like burial ceremonies or processions and things like that. And that was interesting, but it's also like, where has Hela at any point in anywhere we've seen her, even Venom, shown that that's a part of why she's invading? You know what I mean?
Never.
Like there's exactly. And so
she hasn't.
Where
and it also doesn't feel within her character.
I will pause. Okay, help me out here, right? Because I don't think you're wrong in terms of like Hela specifically, but I feel like it's a trope that I enjoy and we've seen before of like, the big bad god who has to be the god of something shitty just wants to be like, I know I have a job, but can't you guys like understand that, like, and still accept me? Like, I like that aspect a lot in storytelling, but then you're right. Like, I don't feel like it sits with Hela without explicit something, right? Like
none of her actions in the past give me any reason to feel like there would be the slightest hint of a connecting point or a seed to make this motivation make sense whatsoever.
I think she's maybe once talked about like, oh, all the mortals love you guys over me, but that's just kind of like classic villain god motivation, right?
I was gonna say, like, that's been done with like every evil god.
Right. So it's not like 16
times.
It's not necessarily motivation for. That's more of like she just had a tantrum in the moment, right? Like that's not like a character thing. So yeah, to that, Andrew, I just feel we've said it before, where you and I have talked about it like separately offline. Like this will probably read great in trade. But right now, I'm just sort of like, what is happening? Like, where are we? What are we doing with any of this? And I'm going to be honest, like, I have faith in Al Ewing too. This Queen in Black #3 made me lose I don't know. It makes me go like, okay, like I trust you, but on face, this doesn't feel like we're doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Like this issue is weird. So let's just get into it. You and I will explain to everybody, but we open with more what do you call it? Like scene setting, right? Talking about the global invasion of Earth by Hela's forces. We see an invasion of shape-changing Skrulls hits Italy, and they turn into various kaiju. We see Fing Fang Foom. We see a couple others, like Magog is over, or not Magog, but like Gog is over there. A lot of classic Kirby, or like these are like classic Kirby monsters from back in the day. And I don't know, it's just a cool little moment where the Avengers and the X-Men fight. It's kind of just like showing what's going on, right? Like outside of the main event. First, I want to ask Andrew, what'd you think of Emma here? Was this a good handling of Emma? Did you like her?
No, she didn't sound like Emma at all, actually. I was like, who is talking right now? I don't recognize this character. I like that she was in her outfit for Exceptional X-Men that we never got to see her in. So she looked fantastic, but like her dialogue, I think there might have been maybe one line of dialogue that sounded like, okay, that kind of sounds like Emma. And then the rest of it, I was like,
it's where she goes,
like,
hello, darling, I'm in your head. And what a cluster of insecurities it is, right? Like,
yeah, that sounds like Emma.
But the rest of it sounds like somebody trying to, they don't know who Emma is, but they got sort of like a character profile description where it's like strong, slightly bitchy, right? And but instead of like playing with how that could be, they just make her sort of like, okay, shut up. And it felt weird. But what felt weirder to me, and I will admit, what, do we not have a full, I thought I had a full page. Where's our, there it is. I knew we had it. I will say I liked this, seeing all three of our like shape-changing Marvel characters. We have the new Goliath, the new Giant Man, and Atlas sizing up to fight.
But no Kamala Khan?
I know. Where is she? I'm actual genuine
I have no idea.
Not that I necessarily think she should be here, but it's like, it's an event.
I have no idea where she's been
since. Why would Marvel not put her here?
Yeah, the last thing I knew about her was them killing her off in the Spider-Man comic and then making her
you knew about I was gonna say, like, you knew that part because she like
I knew that they made her a mutant after that, but I know nothing about her after that. I
forced you to know because I would send you things about it. I forced you to know about that. Like, remember they did that like series of annuals last year where it was like giant-sized Dark Phoenix saga.
Right. And so like she was getting inserted in all these different important events, and I remember that.
And I was like, this sucks. But I don't think so. Do you know anything about this Giant Man here, Andrew?
No, okay, I don't.
So that is kind of what I wanted to get at. So this Giant Man.
I was like, who are these schmoes? I know who Atlas is, and I know who
Goliath.
But why am I blanking? Goliath. I know them.
Except you don't.
Freaking Goliath got killed in Civil War.
And that's the thing. That's not the same Goliath. That's his nephew, who took over after, like, at the end of Civil War, or like post Civil War. He took up Bill Foster's identity to like honor him or whatever. So actually a different character. I was gonna be like, oh,
hell do I know? I guess
exactly. I was like, what? You think you know Goliath, but so
my general like broad Marvel knowledge is paltry compared to my general DC knowledge.
Oh yeah, I can tell. Don't worry. Unless we're talking Spider-Man, and then we could go for
Spider-Man, Miss Marvel, X-Men. That's where I live.
Yeah, but then with X-Men, you have to remember things like Utopia and
I don't want to remember things like Utopia.
Well, that's part and parcel of this. But what I'm getting at specifically is I wanted to highlight the Giant Man here, Raz Malhotra. So a couple years ago, when I believe Ant-Man 1 came out, they did a series. They gave Scott Lang a series where he opened up like he was still Ant-Man, but he opened up like a security firm. And he was giving like ex-supervillains chances to, redeem themselves and be heroes. And in the events of that book, this guy, this Roz guy, I think he's like working for like AIM or something, but he immediately realizes like, oh, this is bad, and he starts helping Scott and Hank, and then both of them are like, use this to like it's part of a plan, right? They're like, you take this, and then at the moment you're gonna giant up and blah blah blah. So then Hank is like, Scott's Ant-Man, I'm not really a human, or like I'm not a hero anymore. It's yours. I like him. He has an interesting character quirk that I like that they kept here, which is he's kind of like unsure. He's like the guy who really has his heart in it, but sometimes like might not have the most common sense in like doing something, right? Like if you're working in construction, you might like pick up a bunch of stuff and you're like, dude, you're in the right spot, but you're gonna hurt yourself, and you just opened us up to a lawsuit. Like, I know you didn't mean anything by it, but let's think for like a second. And you can see that here with him. He goes to pick up the Leaning Tower of Pisa and use it as a baseball bat, and Beast is like, is that what you were gonna do? Maybe, like, let's think about that, right? So I like that as a character quirk, as like a fledgling hero, right? Problem is, and this is what got me on this, is to Andrew's experience, they don't use him. we've seen him as Giant Man maybe like 3 times, like since they gave him the identity. And I'm just like,
I've seen him this many.
Well, you've seen him this many now. You've seen him one. And
okay, well, prior to this, I've seen him this many.
But that's the thing too. It's like he shows up in things like Avengers AI or like the Battle World series, and it's only for like Hank has to call, like he has to make contact with the Avengers, and Roz happens to be like monitoring the station at the moment, right? And it's just like I think you have an interesting successor idea here, especially in the vein of Scott Lang. But with Marvel, they don't allow anything to move forward, so they don't even use this Giant Man, which sucks because I think like Giant Man's a cool hero. I genuinely like the Giant Man suit and everything. So it's weird. I'm just glad he's here, but it's also like, guys, you can't just like send an invite to the Christmas party once a year and be like we're still best friends or anything, right? So that's all I wanted to highlight there. And also, I just love Atlas. Any Thunderbolts reference, I'm going to be on top of. But so that ends that sequence, and this is, I don't know, or you know, let's keep going because I know a better place to bring this part up. So we return to the main fight, which is, you know, MJ, Eddie, Dylan, Spider-Man, Black Cat, his amazing friends versus the like symbiote Kree Ultimate Intelligence, who just stole Dylan. He's trying to take over Dylan so that he can take his Codex powers and separate the symbiotes from like the Hive and then give them a new like independence. All of that fun stuff. But that involves a fight. And it's a pretty, I would say, this is probably the best part of the issue, where Ebon is doing his Ebon thing. We see a team dynamic unfolding between MJ and Peter and Eddie, and like that natural team dynamic. Like you just fall, kind of like we were talking about with Absolute Catwoman, right? Where the girls were like, it's been 10 years since we hung out, and look at us, we're like right back. Are you serious? It's kind of like that, right? Like there's just this snap to it that all 3 of them kind of understand. And yeah, so they eventually...
When are we getting the next issue of that, by the way?
Of what?
Absolute Catwoman.
Soon, I have to imagine. Maybe like a week or 2.
So far,
I know you're
genuinely enjoying it.
This is what I'm talking about. What universe did I wake up in? Like what the fuck is happening?
This is the Absolute universe.
He likes Selena. He wants a Carmine variant. His favorite issue this week was Absolute Flash. I don't know this man.
I can't help you anymore. I don't know who I am.
But yeah, so eventually Eddie breaks in. He's able to get Dylan out of the intelligence, but instead of sort of taking him away, Sleeper is like, we've got to sort of counter infiltrate him, if you will. Like, I'm gonna absorb, you're gonna absorb me, and we'll take the fight into the intelligence. It's a little interesting thing, but we see them all, you know, unite together. They animate out. I way prefer this, by the way, Andrew. This like yellow actual Sleeper color for Codex over the like red blue. Mm-hmm. This is
the red blue. I think my issue with the red blue is because of, ironically enough, my favorite feature of the Codex, like Dylan's symbiote, like visual style. My favorite thing about it is the thing that makes that red and blue not work, and it's his hair.
Ah, yeah, I can see that.
The really stark contrast of that long blonde hair against the bright
like black,
blue and red does not work.
It kind of like
it just doesn't work for me.
It makes it almost too noisy, right? Because then I pulled this. I went back to the cover because it's like the best full body shot, but now I realize it doesn't show his spider, which is pure white, which is another color you're throwing on there, and only there, right? So you've got like platinum blonde, big white, and then like blue shoulders and mask, and that's it. And then like red, and then I just noticed this because I thought this is where you were going, Andrew, when you were talking about your favorite design element and what the red and blue one does wrong. I just noticed he doesn't have the chains on his forearm. They give him like MCU
those are
lines.
cool. Those are cool.
Yeah. But like here, there's just like random MCU lines. So not yet. I generally do like that Codex suit. I'm just not digging this red and blue one. I just can't get behind it. But
yeah,
I will.
I like it. I liked it better when it's mostly black, and then he has the red. I think that works. That's clean because
cool.
you have, with the vast majority of it being black and just having a little bit of the red, you know, that kind of king in black or prince in black as he's kind of referred to. That's enough to where if you add the bright golden blonde of his hair, it doesn't seem like there's too many competing bright colors for your attention.
Yes, that's probably right. And like both of those
it's color
bright
balanced.
highlights are up top instead of like spreading out. I can see that. To that end, Andrew, I will say we talked a little last week about how I wasn't quite vibing or digging the sleeper Venom suit. It kind of just felt, oh, it's the Venom suit with red eyes. That's how I felt it.
It was just kind of for you.
Yeah, and for you, you were a little bit more about it, but you could see.
I was a little more about it.
From.
Yeah.
But you could see like, okay, that's fair, Spence. Like Mav, like that's fine. I will say, I'm way more about it now because Ebon and in this issue, like, they clearly color it more as like gunmetal silver, right, over white, and I think that makes all the fucking difference in the world. Like that makes it super cool, as opposed to if it was just white, which I thought it was because of shading. So I am kind of about this one now. Like I'm here, except I would get rid of those stupid Wolverine slash marks on his legs. Oh, I'm not sharing my screen anymore. I was like, wait a minute, I should be able to. There we go. Yeah, just like the Wolverine slashes on his legs are unnecessary. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah, it's unnecessary noise.
So from there, we see everybody, the Spider-Man and MJ try to get Dylan off the field by taking him to the Baxter Building to the Fantastic Four. As they arrive, they see a spaceship, which unbeknownst to them for right now, but will be revealed to them in like 2 seconds, contains Black Cat, gonna go do her Black Cat thing. They eventually, well, here's a moment that I think was supposed to be like super hype, and I don't think it landed. And I'm gonna ask you about it, and I have a theory as to why it didn't land. But we have this moment where, all the Skrull symbiotes catch wind that they're by the Baxter Building. Attack! Take Dylan Brock alive! And MJ goes, Spidey, you get Dylan into the Baxter Building. I've got them. And she gets, the dragon wings. And she takes to the sky.
Which I know you're already not a fan of to begin with.
Which is, I think we have talked about this before, but I had the thought again when we got here, which is like, I'm always so torn because I think on one hand, I do like the dragon change, right? Like it works in developing the character. The visuals do get really metal, especially around, what was that? King in Black, right? Like, I can see it. And then I like, me, I like my subtle, tie-ins. So I like the idea that Grendel from the dragon from, like, Beowulf was, the symbiote. Like, I like those ideas. But then I just get back to, like, I don't like it for Venom in particular, right? Like if you were to ask me, I'd be like, absolutely not, never. But it works, and I do, like, I'm just always so torn over it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't ever ask me to give like a good opinion on dragon symbiotes because I'm never gonna have one. I'm gonna be wishy-washy here. But in this moment, MJ gets the wings, and then she, for the first time, conjures up a gun. And so she conjures up a gun, and she starts unloading impact webbing, which, of course, shout out to my boy, Ben Reilly. Always love to see that they recognize, game recognize game. This didn't feel hype to me. Like, the opening of the wings didn't feel like it's a power-up. And then, from how we've seen Carlos draw Venom when they're fighting and, like, changing and doing things, the idea of, like, just making a gun, like with a trigger and like if she'd have made her arm into like a Barrett style gun from Final Fantasy,
I was gonna say if she'd gone more Final Fantasy or Mega Man with it, I think that would have looked cooler. I think the issue with this is the issue I have with this entire issue. The pacing is all over the place. This event feels rushed, and I hate to say that because this was an event I was genuinely looking forward to.
Stoked for
and
this.
Conceptually, I still really like it. But right now, the execution feels all over the place. And this issue in particular is where I think the pacing issues come into play. This feels now like an event where it probably needed 6 issues to feel properly like paced. But instead, it feels like they're cramming things and then they're adding like random flashbacks that honestly don't add anything and waste page real estate.
So that's where I would push back again. Like, I'm with you in theme and everything, right? In spirit, like I'm right there with you. I take the counter stance where I go, this clearly was not supposed to be 5 issues at all, because notice how this opening scene, right, with the Fing Fang Foom and the scrolls and Giant Man and everything, like it happens and then we're gone, and like we do not talk.
And it's drawn by a completely different artist.
And it's drawn by a completely different artist. This, to me, Andrew, feels like you wanted to do remember like Civil War Frontlines, right? Like when they would have those like small anthology books where it's like 3 stories about just like somebody in the Marvel universe who's not like really linked, but how it affects them. That's what this feels like. Like you wanted to have like Queen in Black, like World War symbiote or something, and it's a one shot, and you see how everybody around the world is dealing with this. Because we also saw this in the last issue. We had, at least with like the Cable and Tony setting up the mission and everything. So you have that. I feel like they added this on so that they could stretch it out, right? Because to me, this is the main narrative here is everything Ebon drew, right? And if we look at all the stuff Ebon drew, I'm seeing a very clear through line. But then we start adding everything else, and I go, why? It's adding nothing, and to me, it's taking away from the quality, right? So I might as well like just get into it now because you set it up for me perfectly. But what I brought up, one of the things I wanted to get at about why this scene didn't work for me, why MJ getting her wings out, is you go from so look at let me get a good comparison. So look at this shot here, everyone, of Peter and MJ, and I can even zoom in of it. Getting ready to, or they're standing up, they're getting ready to fight, and they're the focus, absolutely. But then Ebon still draws. He's got smoke, he's got background buildings, and even he blurs the buildings to kind of take them out of focus, and then he's got sort of just like the embers and the debris flying around in the sky there. It gives you this feeling that you and I have always complimented Ebon on, of like, it's moving, it's alive. He normally does it with the symbiotes, but now you can see it with the backgrounds and accoutrements. Then we go to that scene and look at the background. It is, sure, they drew buildings, but there's no anything. It's just color. It's a gradient. There's no action. There's no embers. There's no anything. And it's just hollow, right? Like, this to me feels cheap because you like, oh shit, you just served me a bunch of prime rib. This is amazing. And then it's time for like the salad before dessert. And it's just like, like we used to get in like school, or it's just like half a head of lettuce or something, right? Like, it just, why would you do that? It makes me go, the meal was good, but I don't know why they did that, and I don't really want to go back to that restaurant because that was really, really, really weird. So, yeah, I know you brought it up, I think, last week with like the artist changes, and I was like, this one wasn't so bad. But even then, last week it was only 1 artist change, and now we've got 3. Almost all of them being unrelated, and it's just so, it sucks because like, yeah, you get this page, and then you go to like Ebon on the next one, and it's like, where was any of this dynamicism? So essentially from there, we get into the Baxter building. We're getting into, Al in this part is kind of leaning on the MJ and Peter as parents to Dylan kind of metaphor thing. I don't think there's a lot to say about it right now, Andrew, but I'm sure it'll pay off as we go closer to the end of the series.
There isn't. I'd be open for them using that as a connecting point for the characters, but Marvel editorial isn't going to let that be a thing. So
absolutely never. But then from there,
at least until you yeet Nick Lowe out of
Tom Brevoort first,
the Office.
Man. Like Tom Brevoort, and then we're gonna put. Remember how they carried C-3PO, or not C-3PO, like Han Solo and stuff on the Ewok planet, like for sacrifice?
Yeah.
we're gonna carry Nick Lowe like that, like around the office every like 20 minutes, like an attraction at a fair, and we all, like,
there is
throw tomatoes at him.
there is no dark god across any universe that wants Nick Lowe as a sacrifice.
That's true. You know what? That would probably like draw us more wrath from like several different gods. That's a good point. Thank you for making sure my soul.
That's
not just damnation. Like Sisyphusian like punishment. Yeah.
That's like your lady is having a moment, and you know that the one fix for that is to get her favorite ice cream. And instead, what you get her is not only her not favorite ice cream, but one that has something that she's allergic to in it.
And it's like you went for like the light one, right? So it tastes different implicitly.
Yeah. So you got like Dryer's Light or something like that, right? Like.
Dryer's
not even real ice cream.
No, Dryer's Light is. I'm glad you used that one because that one is specifically so weird. Like that one's almost like ice. Like you're just
that's all it is.
Slightly
It's
sweetened
junk.
ice. It's weird. But from there, as soon as the little family drama is over, we get Reed Richards and Sue Storm reveal that they are still in the Baxter Building and they are ready to help. Which, God bless him, Ebon. You gave me an MJ Venom by Ebon, and then my waifu Sue. Like.
Sue Storm, yeah.
I was very, very happy. I was very stoked on that. I did like this too. Like I thought this is a genuinely cool bit of like Fantastic Four tech lore or whatever. But as you guys can see, Reed and Sue welcome MJ, Dylan, and Peter into the Baxter Building. They tell him, Johnny is out fighting. All of the kids and the Future Foundation are on lockdown. Ben is currently running out to join the fight. Looks like there's only 5 of us here, and you can see on their chest they have 5, and then Reed goes, anybody want a chest symbol? And he has the 5 up. We turn the page, and Johnny goes, what? Why did my symbol change to 5? And then he goes, oh right, Reed's way of saying Spidey made it to the Baxter Building because he's technically like the only extra member.
He's the honorary 5th member, right?
Which
of
I
the
love.
Which I kind of like that. That's a nice little call out.
It's a good call out. And I like the dynamic of like Marvel's first family, who everybody loves and respects and looks up to. Like take in fledgling 16-year-old menace. Like everybody hates him. Superhero. Like there's a cool dynamic. Like there's a cool thing there. But yeah, Johnny.
There is.
Just having it like instantly flip. I thought that was pretty cool. From here, we get... So this is where it really starts getting off the rails for me, Andrew. And I know it's like the very end, but if you guys remember, in the last issue, we got the reveal that Novar, for some reason, was wearing a symbiote and was on Hela's attack crew. Even Nova here goes like, I have, like, I have no idea why you put on a symbiote. Maybe you wanted, like, maybe it was forced on you, or maybe you just wanted to, like, burn everything down. I don't blame you, right? No real explanation. But then... as you guys see, surprise pod landing, and we get the surprise reveal that Firelord, of all people, is now wearing a symbiote and is part of Hela's strike crew. And if you guys don't remember Firelord, he is a Herald of Galactus who... He's essentially if like the Silver Surfer had the power cosmic and the Nova Force, right? Like this dude is crazy strong. He is... And always remember, Spider-Man beat his ass. And not just like with tricks. Just like straight like hammering him down to the point where everybody was like, if you keep going, Spidey, you're gonna kill him. Stop. Like just like
you're gonna kill this cosmic being.
You gotta
I need you to chill.
I love writers who remember how strong Spider-Man is are the best, right? Like there's always that I'm sure you remember there was that old like 70s or 80s just like house ad insert where it showed like it was Spider-Man. He's like, let me introduce you to like the power rankings of like the Marvel universe, right? And it's like like Daredevil's on like that street tier or whatever. And then it gets to the top and it's like Hulk, She-Hulk, Thing, and Pete's like, this is my power category, right? Like I belong on the very bottoms of this. And then there's a little bubble where it's like, technically true right now, but remember, Peter is a teenager. He's only at the start of his like, growing, like getting bulk and like getting strong journey. And again, like, I'm just thinking now, Andrew, why did Joe Kelly have him go, ow, when he lifted up the truck and slammed Rhino? Like, no, it should have just been another day for Spider-Man, right? Like, is nothing. But, so, to what I was just saying, though, Andrew, this is where I start going, like, because between him and Novar, it feels like we're just going like, ooh, look, powerful person in a symbiote. Ooh.
Well, it feels like a bunch of ass pulls right now,
well,
which is not what I wanted for this event. Like, if you can make this meaningful, cool, but right now, despite all of the build-up to this event,
we didn't see any of
the event itself has no story.
Well, that's what I was going to say is, like, imagine if we'd have seen over these past few months, like, 2 pages of epilogue per every Venom issue we've been reading, right? Like, and we see Hela going around and she abducts Novar, or she, gets Firelord. Like, show her doing that so that we know that these bullets are loaded and ready. And so, like, if we'd have known that she had Firelord, this pod would have come down and we would have both probably been like, oh no, he's here. Like, but instead it's just like, oh, it's him. And, like, on the subject of ass pulls, like, I just went over it with Novar, where Nova just goes like, maybe you wanted to wear it, maybe you didn't. And then here, it just says, like, here's Firelord, now wearing a fireproof symbiote. And that, to me, is just like, that's too egregious. You know what I mean?
It's just
like,
exposition.
Well, it's not
for
just exposition.
A character that's popping up out of nowhere that had no build up to their presence being part of this event.
But it also, like, breaks a giant piece of symbiote lore, right? The fire thing.
Yeah.
And we've seen...
The only exception should be Carnage.
Because when he ascended to godhood, and he still... he still has all of that, like... Or he still has his weakness removed. That's how I want to put it.
I was going to say, he still has all of those upgrades. He's just physically weakened right now.
That's why we...
You have a very, very way of, like, taking all this, like, blathering that I say and succinctly bringing it down to, like, 4 words. I very much appreciate that.
That is why we have that. But so yeah, like, it breaks that big piece of symbiote lore. And to what Andrew brought up, like, we've seen Carnage do it, and you and I kind of were behind. Like, we were about it. We were like, we're seeing Carnage. It's a little over the top and absurd, but we're seeing it. Like, he's going through time and killing other symbiotes and codexes and spider. Like, okay, we're watching the journey unfold in front of us. Here, they just go, he's got a fireproof symbiote. Dude, that kind of requires an explanation. Because now I'm like, do you have an entire breed of fireproof symbiotes? Like, why don't you just use them on everybody? Or things like that. So, it's getting weird, Andrew, right? Like, I want to like this series still, and I still see meat there. But every decision feels like they make the wrong one, right? Like, we can see what they're going for, but they make, like, the wrong decision on how to play it out. And to me, that also continues into Defenders of Light and Dark. But before I switch over, Andrew, any last words about this issue?
No, other than there was kind of a letdown.
Super letdown. Even this, right? Like, I feel like this page feels rushed from Ebon. At least the Sue. The Sue to me feels like it's Ebon Sue, but I don't know, like, something feels sloppy about the inking, and I don't know. Stop rushing it, right? Like, that's kind of like a big point I wanted to get to tonight is, like, DC, get in, dude. I should have brought this up when we were talking about it. They go, here's an event. It's going to be 5 issues. And then we go, cool, that's great. If that's your plan and you know your creative team, why do we need so many fill-in artists? Why do we need, like, I guess I want to put it to you, because you are of the industry, we shall say. Like, what's the disconnect here? And like, is there any strategic, like, business reason for them to do that? Like to keep the story going with fill-in artists over sticking to what, like, you were sold? And I guess I also want to put in the clarification that, like, there's a difference, guys, between going, we know we're going to have a filler artist and we're going to pick, like, this guy who can do your style close and always use him. And the example for me is, like, Ultimate Spider-Man, right? We had Chichetto on most issues, but then on the, like, quieter intrigue issues, we had David Messina, who not 1-to-1, and it's like, yeah, Andrew and I would always go like, where's Chichetto, right? But we still also went like, if they're gonna do it, they made a pretty good choice. Like this works, as opposed to just going like, who's around the office right now, and okay, come draw a page. You come draw a page. So yeah, I'll put that to you. What is going through their heads? I suppose. I don't know. That's a bad setup, but it's tough
because this is something that at the Rippaverse we're becoming acutely familiar with this as our production schedule ramps up, and we've got very specific deadlines we're trying to meet because we have this deal with Hachette, which is a major third largest international publisher.
Is that how you say it? Hachette?
Hachette, yeah, it's Hachette.
I always thought it was Hatchet.
We all, including myself, thought it was Hatchet at first.
We're
but it's
big
Hachette.
dumb American. Woohoo, cowboy!
I can't. I don't word good. But so sometimes you have to just make calls, and if a thing is running behind, maybe it's the artist's fault because they're slacking. Maybe it's the fault of someone else. Maybe the deadline itself was not a realistic expectation to set for the artist. It could be any number of those things or a combination thereof, and you have to just make a call. It's like, are we going to make the deadline or not?
Right.
And so if the call comes down to making the deadline or having to move it, and the difference maker being changing the artist, a lot of times publishers are going to say, all right, then we're going to pull in a different artist to finish this out.
And that
I think the issue here, though, when it comes to Queen in Black specifically, which you touched on, was the parts that aren't drawn by Iban feel, at least a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them feel like they're not necessarily actually part of this main story. And you could get rid of them and condense the story down. You could compress it, and nothing changes. Nothing of consequence.
This could have been like an an intra Venom solo series event, right? Maybe bled out into a tie-in issue with Amazing. It didn't need we used to do back in the 90s, right? Like, it didn't need to be line wide to this extent by any means. And also,
exactly.
You and I have talked about this before, and I was kind of defending him up until like in past issues. The backup artist here is Paco Medina, and he's not bad. I like Paco Medina, but he is not rising to the challenge here. And I don't know if that's, again, to everything you said about deadlines and time and whatever, but it's a bummer. Because normally when I see Paco, I'm like, oh, cool. It's not going to be the greatest art. He's a very good B artist. You know what I mean?
Well, this is one of those things where when you're sold on a thing because of the main artist is Jorge Jimenez or Iban or any number of other just S tier artists, right? Pepe Larraz, right? And you're like, oh man, you're seeing those first pages in that first issue, this is why I'm here.
Right.
And then you get halfway through the issue and all of a sudden it's a different artist. You're like, this is not why I'm here. Right. And it is a frustrating thing. And there is that there's a juggling that comes into that where it's like the artist that was pitched was this one, but in order to finish the book, we also had to bring in this one.
Right.
Right.
And what you were
in order to
explaining
actually
makes so
get the
much
book
sense.
out.
Yeah. For those of you who might not realize it, okay, you could say we'll push Queen in Black #3 to next week, right? And it'll just double release. But you guys don't understand that blows up so much, shipping logistics, advertising logistics, billing, it goes insane. So as Andrew explained,
if you're a smaller indie publisher or a publisher that doesn't have a large interconnected universe, that's something you can kind of get away with. But when you do that as one of the major publishers, even us over at the Rippaverse, if we were to push back deadlines significantly enough to where things start running into where other books are dropping, but this thing is supposed to come first, imagine being Marvel or DC and doing that.
Yeah.
That throws off everything. Well, and then you wind up with things like Doomsday Clock.
Or you wind up with things like Hush 2.
And it means nothing. Yeah, right. Or Hush 2. And all of a sudden your timeline for this makes absolutely zero sense. And this doesn't any longer line up with where it was supposed to happen.
Right. And yeah, no, that it makes a lot of sense.
It's not an enviable place to be.
It's not an enviable place to be, and I think that's probably all we can really say, right? Because my conclusion is like, you are right, and I have no argument, and like it all makes total sense. It appears like to me that where the solution has to come from is in that planning stage, right? But I feel like that could be so variable and depend per artist, per project, per whatever, per IP, per character even, that there can't be a blanket one. I think if I put like a general stamp on it, it's like maybe we need to just promote a culture of better planning in comics. But even then,
time management,
time management, expectations management, right? Like you didn't have to swap in artists if you only did 2 issues. Now we're going in circles, but that all makes sense, and it seems like it's just one of those unfortunate side effects of the business, which I don't know. Yeah, not for me to solve right here in the immediate on foil variant in 5 seconds when I haven't looked into jack squat. And so with that, Andrew, do you have any last words on Queen in Black proper?
I do not.
I think that's kind of where we leave the main book for this week. We do have. Oh, I heard the noise. I wish Discord would save the application, like the exe, instead of the specific window. That's what keeps happening, and I keep resharing it. It's annoying. But so, I wanted to jump over here. Obviously, it's part of one of the books we said we were going to talk about. I don't think there's a lot to talk about in this one, per se, right? But there isn't. There's something but I wanted to address it for a specific reason. And let me just change what's behind me because it started going into like credits, and nobody wants to look at credits. So we'll go to Venom Last Dance. Maybe people want to see credits over Venom Last Dance. Actually, now that I think about it, that could be a real thing.
Maybe.
but so, Defenders of Light and Dark. If you guys remember, this is the miniseries that is playing out Cable and Tony's, dark, light. One second.
Got dogs over there thinking they pay rent.
They really act like it sometimes. But so, yeah, this miniseries is where I would chance to say this is probably the second most important thing you got to be reading in Queen in Black, because it plays out such a big not even a big event, but just a big part of the story, the clash, the light force, dark force stuff. But really, this is kind of just like a Cloak and Dagger miniseries, but not even. It's frustrating to me, Andrew, right? Because we talked about it last time. Cloak and Dagger have been around for a while. Marvel Rivals came out, blew up their popularity. Everybody said, when are you going to do something with it? Tom Brevoort said, don't worry, we have plans. And did nothing until this is the most they've appeared.
After saying that Marvel Rivals doesn't actually affect sales or anything.
That's right, which is like, are you high?
To some degree, okay, sure. The vast majority of people who jumped in on Marvel Rivals had never read a Marvel comic book before and probably still never would. Yeah. However, and that's because gaming is a normie medium, right? Just like
Very
movies are.
So.
Comic books are a niche medium. They're specialist medium, a specialty product. However, you are still going to have a subset of people who have enough interest in the thing that they are now engaging with that they're going to say, what else is out there of this character, right? Crazy. It's not going to be 80% of your audience from Marvel Rivals. It's not even going to be 30% of your audience, but it is going to be a percentage, and that's something you should take into account.
And you should honestly.
Because the gaming audience on its own is larger than the comic book audience.
It's 1,000% true. But to that point, right? What I'm about to say is gonna be surprising considering what you and I talk about on a daily basis. But to that point, these companies also need to realize that if you go, okay, we understand it's going to lead to some comic traffic. This is the demographic we want. We want older people with disposable income. Sure, you want that. But here's the reality. I see this all the time, and I'm sure you do too, Andrew. You know who really, really goes into these, like, who goes, oh, I like this character, I want to go read more. It's probably about
it's younger
5% it's 5% of people like us when we were younger, but then it's a lot of, yes, it's the younger people who, God bless them, like, maybe they're getting into it for not directly, I love comic. They go, oh, I like Cloak and Dagger as a couple, right? Or they go, oh, I'm so excited that there is a like a Mexican superhero with Ghost Rider. So I'm gonna go, like, okay, fine, right? Like, again, they're kids. Let's be a little generous here. But and you know what? The reality is they're gonna go read pirated ones. That's just the world we live in right now. They're not going to be the audience who goes and buys your.
They're gonna go online. They're gonna get their Pakistani editions.
Exactly. Trust me. My friend has a very booming business that isn't just me and Andrew. But even no matter how small that is, that's where you invest and you release things for them to consume. Because even if only 2% of those people convert into real comic readers, that's 2% of that into comic readers who might get other friends into comics or buy your products to give as gifts, right? Like
2% of the video game audience
would be
is a very large percentage.
Like, it's a lot of people.
That's a very large percentage for the comic book audience. And like, when you're comparing like demographics and markets.
Oh, 1,000%. And like, even like, for example, I've told you this. I have one of my best friends. He and I played Overwatch together. When Marvel Rivals came out, I hit him up and I was like, hey, I know we haven't played like a hero shooter in a while. I love Marvel. This looks good. Will you play it with me? And he's like, I'll give it a shot. Fell in love with Cloak and Dagger. And if it weren't like, and so for last Christmas, I unfortunately wasn't able to because Marvel doesn't print things. I wanted to get him the Cloak and Dagger Volume 1 Omnibus, which I never would have thought about getting him otherwise had he not played the game and gone like, I like this character. Like, that's the windows you're opening up here. And to ignore them like Tom Brevoort is insane. It's just insanity. Because then you also get to this point where you have people like me and Andrew going, it's been a year and a half of Cloak and Dagger rising up the charts. Why is this the first time we're even talking about them? Like, it's bizarre. But
they had that mini a couple of years ago or a year ago, right? They had a short. That was
part of the Age of Revelation. That was the Dagger and Cloak, and it was 2 issues, and it was a completely AU thing, right? Like, like that was the rub. I remember getting mad at that because I was like, oh look, they finally. It's Age of Revelation. It's 2 issues. Like, what are we actually doing here? Like, oh, but you'll give Dan Slott another brand new day era like Spider-Man. Like, shut. You're not a real person. Like, get out of my face. But so why I wanted to bring this up? One, pretty cool to see Flash. I will admit this to our Dragon Talk, seeing Anti-Venom being able to mimic the I was like, all right, I can't hate this. Like, this is pretty damn cool. But and then this scene was really cool. I have no idea where that sword came from that Bill is using. It looks different than the ones he's had, but the like underarm like block with the gold. I was like, Bill, you son of a bitch, I love you so much. But this is what I wanted to get to, is that
this is really the main thing of this issue.
Which is we find out, we get introduced to a sort of new concept, which is the Taiji threshold. For those
the new cosmic entity.
Yeah, Taiji. Well, that's the in-betweener. He's not new, but the Taiji threshold is a new concept they just introduced. It's based off of
the new cosmic concept.
Yeah, new cosmic concept, based off the Chinese concept of Taiji, of like light, balance, equal, yin yang, that kind of thing. The Taiji is like the perfect equilibrium, essentially, like with very, very basic description of what it is. The in-betweener comes here, and with both Tandy and Tai dying, he kind of he reveals that I don't even really know what he reveals here. He just kind of reveals that like you're avatars of like chaos and order, but you're also like not stable, so everything is falling apart. And from there, the big reveal is that like they go, no, we're not falling apart. Our chaos is like how we hit equilibrium, like balancing the light and the dark. And I mean, even the in-betweener is just like, oh, all right, see ya, like, cool. But then the big thing of it is right here, where Tandy and Ty get a big ass upgrade. They're like, yeah, they got their what's the right term here? I don't know. Like it's their they got their Hulkbuster armors. Let's put it that way, right? Like that's the level of upgrade they got. And I want to run this by you, Andrew, because how do you feel about them? Like, I think Cloak's is pretty cool because Cloak starts doing like ground, almost like a symbiote, right? Like he's like able to like massively control his Dark Force cloak. But then Dagger just gets a sword. Like that's all that she just gets, like a crystal sword. It's not a light sword. She's not.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not even made of light. So they just kind of gave her a crystalline blade, and it's like, sure, it looks cool, but it doesn't match thematically as much with her.
It's so, and then there's no like. I mean, not necessarily that their original suits had it, but there's no like connection between these upgraded forms, right? Which I would expect because they just said that they're intertwined. So like, you know, Tandy has her shoulder spikes. I would expect some sort of spiky thing over on Ty too, right? Because same concept, but I don't know. So that is where the issue ends, and then it officially ends where Andrew and I were talking about, where Null and Hela go, it's time to end this. Which, sure, I guess. I didn't even know you guys really did that much fighting. We still haven't addressed like, that really cool part that you and I loved, where Null was like, ah, yes, baby dragon. Like, I shouldn't make anything because any life creation is like antithetical to a void, right? Like,
yeah, it should essentially just be me.
Haven't talked about that cool thing again. Haven't really seen those symbiote seraphim at all. I don't know. It almost feels like we're gonna do like Queen in Black 5 will end and it'll be like to be continued, and then it'll be like King in Light number 1 through 5. That'll show like Null's side of it, and then it'll be like Light Dark War or something for another like 5 issues. Like that's what it feels like we're setting up with how all over the place the writing is.
I hate to compare it to this,
bizarre.
And I really don't want to compare it to this, but I'm going to compare it to this. It feels like the Marvel version of DCKO, kind of, right now, where it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
Has an interesting concept, though admittedly the concept and setup for this is better than KO's. But the execution is kind of along the same lines right now, where it's kind of just bouncing all over the place. It doesn't feel structured.
The rules are made up and the points don't matter. Like,
yeah, it just feels like it's a collection of scenes that may look cool in isolation, but they don't form a cohesive narrative.
You know what? You know what? It's sounding like this.
This is starting to sound like a bad comic book plot. It gets worse.
Right? Like it's just. Like we were saying, like it's just at every turn we could see where maybe we can see what you wanted to do, Marvel, but you did like the worst choice to do it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, you wanted to carry the groceries in. We get that. But you decided to try and hold them all in your hand like that instead of like putting them through the loops on your arms, right? It's just like, I don't get it. You didn't have to do this. It's so weird. But yeah, this entire miniseries is really just to upgrade Cloak and Dagger. You could have done that in the main book. You could have done that it feels more than ever that they're just spreading this out to spread it out. But it's also weird, Andrew, because this is admittedly like a very thin event, like or like a pared down event. We don't have 3 or like we don't have like 5 separate 3-issue miniseries and 7 one-shots. We've got like maybe 7 like extra issues that aren't the main series in total. It's very small. So
it's a very small event. Like
they pared it down, and it still feels exhausting. Like this is not a good sign. Like it's a bummer. I think you and I might be on the same page where I don't think we're out yet. We still have a lot of faith in Ewing. Anything could be. You know, we have 2 issues. Well, not 2 issues of this, but we have 2 issues of the main series left. Anything could wrap up and be great. But right now, Andrew and I are probably just like, oh man, like. We were really excited to order that, and now it's like...
I was hoping that it was going to be stronger than Venom War. Right now, it's not nearly as strong as Venom War.
Which is crazy. Like, Venom War
Because the
was
Venom War is
fun.
actually a pretty simplistic story. There's not that much that's going on there. It's
the
just
most
fun.
complicated thing is the like future Dylan stuff, which as soon as you get to the end of that arc, just makes sense. Like it doesn't get that complicated. So that's Queen in Black. Hopefully Al can save us. But as we approach the end of our show tonight, we've got one last book to really dive into, guys. And again, I can't believe it. It is Absolute Fucking Flash by Jeff Lemire and Nick Robles. If you guys
Of all things.
If you guys have been longtime watchers of the show, you'll know Andrew and I were super excited for this to get started. Wally West is our favorite Flash, probably our favorite DC hero, and it just didn't go anywhere. That first arc was very... What's the right word? What's the word do I want to say about that first arc? Slow?
Like
unpurposeful?
walking through molasses in January with the iron boots from Ocarina of Time.
Okay, that's just because you've been playing it, but also doing so without an objective almost, right? So you go like out, like somebody tells you go out there, muck around. You're like, okay, I can, but I don't like it. Sucks. So why am I doing it? And they just go like, well, you're gonna just go do it, right? Like it's not satisfactory. So if you remember, first arc came to an end. Andrew and I were just like, all right, man, we're here because it's Flash. We're sure we're not enthusiastic, but we're sure we'll get to some issue where you and I just go, nope, that's it. Like, we can't anymore. About, 3 or 4 issues ago, we got the start of a new arc, as well as a guest artist who went a little more manga with the styling. Did wonders for how we felt about the book.
It changed everything.
Yeah, like, we finally started seeing the book for what it was supposed to be, where it's supposed to be the more traditional, lighter, younger superhero of the Absolute universe. Like, Wally is supposed to contrast everybody. And now that makes sense once you see him with like big eyes and moving more like flowy than a Batman or a Superman or Wonder Woman does, or GL or Martian Manhunter. Like, that art style made that so apparent. And then I know last issue with the Grodd stuff was, I think we both liked that issue for what it was, like of Grodd's dad like lashing out and Grodd trying to stop him, and then the sadness legitimately of Jesse having to shoot Grodd Senior like at the end. So Andrew and I, for a while, like if you watched that last one for 17, we were like, we'll see. It's coming, it's doing something. We're not necessarily in, but it's doing something. But then we get to this issue, and I'm in now. Like this issue is kind of what I've been wanting out of something like this. It's pretty crazy, guys. So basically, we pick up at the end of the Grodd event. Linda and Wally and Grodd are kind of deciding, like, what do we do next? Do you stay public or do you stay private? Do you go public? Like, what do we do? And they're just chatting when we get the return of Ralph and Sue Dibney, who this time feel more natural in the role that they've been given, right? Because if you guys remember, Ralph and Sue run sort of like a home for wayward teenagers. And when we first saw them, like, Wally had met... how did he even get there? Didn't he just, like, end up, like, running there and, like...
He randomly wound up running to
And I think he just,
place.
like, sat down on a stoop, and then Ralph found him because he was, like, outside.
Yeah.
That's what it was. But
it was kind of just like, random encounter with this character who's actually an important figure in mainline DCU.
It
Not
felt,
convenient at all.
Yeah, it felt a little convoluted, and then the interactions we got after that were very much... It felt standard, like Ralph going like, Wally, it's okay, we're your family, we're here for you, which, like, sure, sincere, but like kind of like when you hear your teachers go like, we care about you, come talk to us. It's like, as an adult, I'm sure they do, like, genuinely, that's a genuine statement, but as a teenager, you're gonna be like, dude, what? Like, everybody says that, eat shit, like, go away, right? So it felt very just like convoluted, basic, like unsurprising, made worse by the fact that what's his name? Oh my God, what is Rory's name? Mick Rory.
Heatwave?
Heatwave. Thank you. when the absolute heat wave, he attacks the orphanage, not
Who
even knowing
totally
Wally is there.
doesn't look like Molten Man at all.
I know, or not even Molten. To me, he reminded me of Tar, like the Flash.
Oh
villain.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm just like, why didn't you do that? Like, do absolute
Yeah.
Tar. I'm kind of about that. That is a hashtag like Jimmy Watch level event for us here at Foil Variant. Like, we would have been super stoked about that. But all that said, we get to this issue and it feels like it should play out generically, right? Like, they're out on the roof, they're talking to each other, and then Ralph and Sue come up, but it feels different. It feels natural, where they're just like, like, you're not going anywhere. Like, they're talking to them like humans instead of as like stock characters. And it's great. And you can start seeing like, oh, there's Sue Dibney. I miss her, like, ever since Identity Crisis, yada, yada. And, they really reach out. And then everything goes to hell. And they just, look at this, guys. They just devolve into a mass of blood and life. Like Sue starts, like, growing eyes on her shoulder. The super, like, horrifying part here where she's like, help me, Linda, the child, instead of, like, her husband or the superhero.
Yeah, it's super body horror.
Yeah, and then, like, she just, like, I like what they do with that bubble there, Andrew, where it's like, help me, Linda, and then you can see it going into the thing, right? Like, that's a good visual communication. But put a pause in that, because then we jump over to a new introduction. So Andrew did make a joke.
Absolute Hunter Zolomon.
Andrew made a joke to me before I read the issue where he's like, oh, so we're just name dropping everybody in this damn issue. And
yeah,
kind of like yes, it is. We'll get into it. So obviously, as Andrew said, we get our Hunter Zolomon, our Professor Zoom, right? Or no, our Reverse Flash.
No, Professor Zoom is Eobard.
I know, because I was like, nope, Eobard's the smart one. Hunter's the
Eobard is
evil one. Yeah.
Zoom.
Yes.
Yeah. It was honestly a poor naming convention for them to be like, hey, like, one of Eobard Thawne, aka Reverse Flash's names is Professor Zoom. So let's have Hunter Zolomon, who already gets confused in his suit.
I know.
Far too often for Reverse Flash. Let's call him Zoom.
Zoom.
Okay.
Just Zoom. Like, all right, man. Like, that's what happens when you like you don't keep Mark Waid's, like, instant messenger open as a new writer, right? He was done, but you got to be like, hey, how does this feel, right? And he would have stopped that. But not only do we get that reveal, we get the introduction of the DEO supervisor. So we get Zolomon, we get the Department of Extra Normal Operations, we get Director Bones, which I have to be honest with you, Andrew, I'm so disappointed. Like, I know it's the Absolute Universe, it's more grounded, but, like, Director Bones in in the Prime world, he's just a skull. Like, he's an actual Bones. And this guy is just Dr. Voodoo. Right?
It's just
like,
a dude.
Does not hit the same. I will say, I like that they gave him a vape. Like he's vaping this entire time that he's talking to Solomon. And I like it because it just is like, yeah, that's part of our world now, isn't it? Right? Like, it's not anything. It's just like, oh, yeah.
It's not nearly as common or normal now for somebody to just be smoking, a cigarette.
Right. It would be.
Or a cigar.
That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
So instead, they go with the vape, right? Which is, right, wrong, around the bend, more common now.
Right.
I'm not one who has ever. Yeah. I'm not one who's ever done any of that. But, like, to be honest, if we're just talking visuals, a cigarette or a cigar looks more badass.
I mean, I do that stuff. It is not like. Sorry,
it just doesn't look as cool.
Sorry, every commercial we saw as a kid, but that's the point. Yeah, Andrew's right. Like, I smoke.
It doesn't look as cool.
I smoke a cigarette, and I'm like, dude, no, this feels cool, and I feel confident. This feels like I'm a dork, right? Same effect, same everything, but a world of difference between, like, aesthetics. But we also in the season of name dropping, we also get a drop of Simon Baz, who you guys might remember, the Muslim Green Lantern in our main continuity. So this is the only asterisk I put in our carnival of name drops because we've actually seen Simon before. He has shown up in the Absolute Green Lantern series, and they've said like he's an agent of the DEO. So we've seen him over there, but I like this in the sense of like, oh, that's right, this is an interconnected universe, right? Like this is kind of how you should do it. So basically, Director Bones calls in Zolomon and says, we've got a job for you because our patron, Eleanor Thawne, lost an experiment, and we're sending you to go get him because you have a very unique set of skills. And we learn that he basically can jump 1 minute into the future or 1 minute into the past. I'm still kind
upwards
of confused.
Of 1 minute, upwards or downwards 1 minute.
That's so.
It looks like.
I think they need to. Obviously, it's first issue, first appearance.
They need to qualify that.
They do need to qualify it because I can't tell if it's like if I jumped right now, right? If I went 1 minute into the future, can I, when I go back to that moment, can I also go back like a second from there? And then go back to that same, like, I don't know.
Here's the thing. It's timey-wimey bullshit.
It really, I mean, it is.
Which is always going to have issues with it. Visually, it looks cool, but conceptually and realistically, it makes no freaking sense.
Yeah.
But it does result in a pretty cool scene.
It does result in a pretty cool scene. So they send out Zolomon, but they also say, we're going to send you with, quote, the old man. We have no idea who it is, but Zolomon goes, no way. That dude is crazy. Like, I get that this is a big mission. Don't send him. We can't control him, which is his exact words. So we return and we see that.
And who did you think the old man was that they were referring to?
I thought it was Animal Man.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because this made me think of the Red.
Right.
Specifically,
it did specifically have a red aesthetic.
Well, it has a red aesthetic, and then look at this page where Sue Dibney is changing. Look at her blood. It's all birds and rabbits. And I was like, the Red? Like, are we getting into like the connecting of like the life blood, especially with her growing all like that? Like that's why I use that word. Like she's growing, like she's excess life. Like she just goes life mode, and that's where I was like, oh my God, are they gonna make this Animal Man? Because and connect him to the Red, and now we finally have like absolute Red, but it is not. I just want to show like we'll show you, but I just wanted to like highlight to you too, like love.
I was genuinely surprised and not surprised at the same time. It was one of those things where like when we get to the final page, I was like, oh, that's who it was? And then it clicked, and I was like, of course that's who it was.
Yes, it does. But it also kind of left me disappointed because I like we just said, like, I had built up like, oh, holy shit, we're going Animal Man, and it wasn't. And to be fair, who we see is kind of one of my least favorite characters in this scene, in this setting. Trying to be a little vague here until we get there. But
all right.
I did want to highlight that the old man, his power starts going not just with Ralph and Sue, like it's going just haywire, no control.
Yeah.
And this is the kind of stuff I love. We all know it, right? Like the super body horror stuff. We do then get another cameo in our name drop-a-thon of
freaking Brainiac.
Absolute Brainiac's here. He has given upgrades to the quote old man, and like this is like the second time we've seen him interact with who did he talk to before? He's teamed up with like some other series. Was it Kale? I feel like he's talked to somebody else, or Grimm. It wasn't like a big like we just saw him.
I'm trying to think. Because wasn't the last main time that we saw him when he went after Luthor?
After Luthor, and he left them all like he butchered his family and he left Luthor alive. And then but then after that he left, and I swear he started like reaching out to the other, like he's gonna be like the connection point. But either way, he now brings Absolute Flash into the proper Absolute fold, if you will. And unfortunately, Wally, what's her name? Thawne says, like, this is a plan to draw out Wally. Wally is Wally. He's a hero. Can't resist. He doesn't even know it's bait, but of course you're not going to let innocent people suffer. I liked this too, Andrew. It finally felt flashy. Where, like, Wally starts, like, thinking, and his powers start, like, visually activating, and then he goes, boom, boom, and he's, like, in his suit. right? Like
here's something that I
that's
really
so
like,
cool.
and I haven't seen done before, and this is something super cool. And I do love, even when I didn't like the story itself,
yeah.
I did like the visual
always liked
identity that they gave,
his
like
running.
how his energy had this mix of Speed Force Lightning and Darkseid's Omega Beams.
Yeah.
Right? That always looked super cool to me. But now
when you pointed out the Omega Beams to me, that was like a oh fuck! Like that was like a holy shit moment.
Well, yeah, because he's not tied to the regular Speed Force. He's tied to this like Omega Speed Force thing.
Yeah.
Right? And a new visual thing that they added to it, which I really like, is you'll notice wherever his starting point is that he leaves from, it has somewhat of a silhouette
of
him.
Partial silhouette.
It's a vague one, yeah, for sure, but it's still something, and that looks
like you can
really
see it down
cool.
there in panel or bottom panel where he's like half, and then when he leaves Linda right there, it's more of a full body one. Oh, because it's him crouching, but then it's not like full. Yeah, dude, like
that's something I haven't, at least that I can recall right now, and couldn't recall while I was reading it. I haven't really seen that done before, and so that gives them a unique visual thing. And I like that a lot.
I think the closest we've seen, and I'm being intellectually honest, I'm being like unironic, is like Dragon Ball Z, right? Like with their after image stuff. That's probably the closest we've gotten, but it's not this. It's not leaving
like somewhat of the silhouette, like a lightning-ish silhouette of the person.
Like Naruto,
right? That's
probably
really
did it
cool.
better when they would do decoys. It's kind of like that. Or like So it's really cool. I'm so, how do I put this, Andrew? I want to see it animated in the sense of like do it in a good animated film or live action if you can do it, but also like specifically a video game would be like really good with it. But I feel like it's one of those things where like if they do it wrong, it's gonna break. Like that's the thing with like comic books, right, guys? Like your brain can fill in details and make the world work for you because it takes in like the setting. It can go like, okay, oh, Wally has like he has this weird super suit just sitting around. Our normal brains would go like, what the heck? But when we're reading a story and we're fine with it, like it, like nothing doing, right? Fuck, I totally lost my train of thought with where I was going there. Not even in an ADHD way. Like I just totally forgot what I was like setting up. Oh yes, but so like when your brain fills it in and we go, I'm sure that if you were able to take out like mine and Andrew's like conceptions of what it looks like when he runs and how it actually plays out, they would be very similar, but we would have some little differences. But because DC doesn't go into like the very specific minutia, Andrew and I, like our versions are both able to sort of coexist at the same time because there's a lot of undefinedness, right? Like to what it is. But the second you actually concretely put that in like a video game or a visual medium, if it's bad, it's going to break what you and I imagine or like readers imagine of this so hard that it'll like ruin the rest of it. So it's going to be a very fine balance. You're going to like, don't go Fortnite Sonic skins on it. That's basically the best way I can put it. Even with their explanation, you know what? I gave them so much credit for that explanation that these look weird because they're Eggman robots, right? Like, I know they're not great, but
I hate them so much. I want to spin dash my head
guys. I feel
into
so
the
bad
wall.
for Andrew. Like, I see him like he loves Sonic. We both love Sonic.
I have uninstalled Fortnite. God bless her. Like, I played Fortnite for Mary, right? And I would have fun with it at times, but I could like only tolerate so much of it in one sitting before I was like, all right, I'm done. I need to go play something else. Like, I can only handle a handful of matches of this.
Even though, like, I fundamentally think Fortnite is a good game. But yeah, after a few, I'm like,
mechanically,
I gotta
it has a lot going on for it, but I can just only deal with so much of it. Mary shifted over to Marvel Rivals, and now that's kind of her. She hasn't played Fortnite in ages. Marvel Rivals is now her thing. And I'm thankful for that because I enjoy Marvel Rivals a heck of a lot more than I do Fortnite. But I was genuinely, when they were hinting at like Sonic being added to Fortnite, I was like, are they really gonna like get me on at least logging in to get these damn skins? Because then they had also, in conjunction with that, announced the Persona 5 skins.
Dude.
And I'm like,
for me, they announced Mega Man too, and I was like, "You motherfucker!"
Oh,
like,
that's
right. I'm right there with you. So here's the thing: like, I stopped paying for Fortnite right after the whole Battle Nexus, like when that ended, right? Like the Miku on Godzilla, and we won that chapter or whatever. Like,
yeah,
I kind of just like stopped because the new season didn't really appeal to me, and then there was that whole thing where like Tim Sweeney came out and he was like, oh yeah, we are absolutely using generative AI for Fortnite stuff, right? And that left a bad taste in my mouth. And then
I didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, he was like, yeah, it's in there. We're not having a discussion about it. Like, we're using it. And so like nowadays, like I get into the game and like we were just talking about, like it's fundamentally really fun and there's a lot of good mechanics and the good moments are good. But I have just like this weird feeling where I'm like, that's a generative AI like poster and I can tell. And so like, what does that say about me endorsing it? And then like, what does that communicate to the industry? So I'm glad that the Sonic skins kind of suck, but also we wanted proper Sonic skins. I don't know how it would have worked, but they should have just done my boy Metal Sonic Mark II. Neo Metal Sonic. He's tall enough for those proportions. He would have fit.
Here's the thing, and I hate that I'm saying this. And we'll get back to Absolute
I know.
But you got me on a Sonic rant, and that was your mistake.
Hey, speedsters, man. All right, and hey, tune in 2 weeks for the our next discussion of DCX Metal Legion. There we go. I
all right.
Back.
If they needed a Sonic model that was a little more lanky than how he traditionally looks, in order for it to more properly fit within Fortnite, all you had to do was use his model from Sonic Boom.
You know what? I'll be honest too. I don't think it's.
And I hate that I'm saying that because I don't like that design. I don't like any of the designs from Sonic Boom at all. But it would have worked a million times better.
I like the cloak. I'm just a sucker for like cloak scarves on designs.
I like Strider, so right, I get it. But like, that design's literally right there.
And it's everybody has one. Like, it's just sitting there for you to like capitalize on. I had that exact same thought too. I was like, guys, like, what are we doing here? But
instead, you gave us those booty ass designs, and I am glad I did not even install Fortnite to look.
They feel like, I don't know if you ever played like Sims back in the day and like got like modded skins or whatever, but it feels like when somebody would do like a Sims mod to put Sonic and Shadow and Amy in there, where it's like,
they look like freaking them. They look like the Mega Bloks versions of these characters is what they look like.
Man, remember Lego Dimensions? I'm kind of sad that failed. I feel like that. I miss Toy to Play or whatever that was called. Right? Like,
it's actually kind of sad that Lego Dimensions failed, because Lego Dimensions, by all rights, should have been the most successful of all of those like Toys to Life games, but the market was already oversaturated by the time it came out. And it was oversaturated with Skylanders and Disney Infinity.
Skylanders, Amiibo.
Yeah. I mean, Amiibo don't do shit, but
they were
like
in the same
Skylanders
category.
Dominated it. Disney Infinity like took a chunk of the market. It wasn't as big as Skylanders for a short time. Yeah, see, it didn't have the same appeal that. Well, I mean, it was the IPs that you were there for, right? And they had good figures.
But then also like the IPs you would play with, like, you know, the Iron Man or Spider-Man, like it felt like you're like, oh wow, I'm actually like, it felt good to play as them. The world.
Sure, no, it had the.
But yeah,
it had the power of the IP for sure. But I think part of the reason why it didn't have as large of a market share as it otherwise probably could have or should have was because it came out after Skylanders had already been dominating the market for a couple of years. And so, like, that stuff was expensive, man. I was a manager at GameStop during all of that. And so, like, I remember parents and kids having to freaking barter with each other, right? In terms of like, what can I grab, right? You know, and those figures weren't cheap.
Yeah.
So they could only get so much of them, and then they got into the freaking annual release cycle with it, which was the big mistake. To where all of a sudden it's like, oh, so now I have to not only spend, you know,
like
$12 to $24 on a figure or a pack of figures, depending on what version of the game was coming out, because they had all sorts of different ones, right, that would vary. Like and then also buy a $60 game every single year on top of that, right?
It was bad.
And so it became one of those things where that's when it devolved from a really cool, fun idea into, okay, now we're just nickel and diming people.
Right. And like, to me,
and that's why it burnt out and then just died. It wasn't even like a subtle trickle. It was just like, it was here and then it was gone.
And then it just cut. So I agree with all of that. I think at least the factor I would put in is honestly, you know, it's like in politics when you have two candidates from the same party who are very popular, and then one drops out of the party race and goes independent. And then what happens? Everybody splits the vote for it, and the other party wins because not enough went to one. When you do, like you had Lego Dimensions and Marvel or Disney Infinity, separate worlds of IPs, right? So like if I played Dimensions, I can't get Spider-Man or Buzz Lightyear or anything, but if I played Infinity, I can't get Sonic or The Simpsons. So it's like there's,
or even Spyro,
right? Like so, like separating, which would have been like a pretty baller IP, or Nintendo, right? So like the separate ecosysteming of everything is like, if they were all together, it would be like Fortnite, where it's like, okay, sure, everybody jumps in, gets one skin or two, plays, and you get your money. But
as much as I love Nintendo, I also criticize them like nobody's business. And
except
if Nintendo wasn't
a realistic idea of them putting Melee on the Virtual Console, that's like insane.
If
like,
Nintendo wasn't completely retarded, they would have done their own Toys to Life game with the amiibo.
Insane,
and made them actually have something to do, because otherwise, tap your amiibo and it unlocks a Ghost Fighter. I don't give a damn. Tap your amiibo, it unlocks this skin. Okay, cool, I guess.
That's cool.
But was that worth $25? Like,
there's only like 5 games where that worked too. Like, it's like the 2 Zeldas, like Breath of the Wild.
I have all of the Zelda amiibo.
So do I.
They're in storage, but I have them.
And I've tapped them all, but like, I think I've told the story before. I bought my first set of amiibo because there was this game, a One Piece game came out on the 3DS, where if you tapped an amiibo, it would unlock like a respective costume for that like One Piece character, right? So like you tap Mario, cool. And Luffy gets like the Mario overalls and the mustache and everything, and it's fun. The game never came to America, but then that was also like the strongest extent of like the tap to have something appear in the game. And I was like, if you did more of that kind of shit, amiibos would have been amazing. But instead, what is it, like, tap your amiibo and you get like 50 rupee? Like, fuck, no. Yeah. Like, I'm not gonna get up and go get a figure and like.
Amiibo are the biggest scam in gaming, and that's saying something. Like,
you know what?
If you are getting them, this was the qualifier that I was getting to. Like, if you are getting them because you think they're cool-looking figures for an affordable price for their size and level of detail, okay, sure, fair, why not? I can't even really argue with that, because there are some amiibo that actually genuinely look really good. And for like I don't know what they go for now.
The Shrine Guardian.
Oh yeah, the
like,
big.
Bend its arms. Like,
yeah, I've got that one. That was one of the launch ones. I got that on launch.
It's pretty cool.
So like okay, fine, fair enough. I can understand it. But if you're getting them because you actually expect to get something in your games from them, I can't help you.
Yeah, right? Like, you got it. You know what you're buying at this point, guys.
You got bamboozled. You got hoodwinked.
And you know what? I can admit that, and it sucks. And that's why I keep telling Andrew, don't have any faith in Melee. But, all right, let's finally get back to
let's wrap up after
we're like right here. We're like so close, and then you and I can go offline and bitch about Nintendo for years. But another, like, I think this would technically qualify as like Wally's first superhero moment, where he saves a woman and her baby from just giant, gross, bloody masses of flesh, And
yes, well, because this entire time up to this point, he's kind of been a lot like Peter when he first became Spider-Man or first got his powers, right? He's using them not nefariously, but he was only using them for personal reasons. Even if those personal reasons were maybe good reasons, he wasn't using them
searching
to
for his dad.
Be a superhero.
Like that was his, he was like, I'm just here to find my dad. Where's my dad? Right?
Yeah, that's all he cared about. And fair enough, right?
Absolutely,
but like
absolutely.
He wasn't being a superhero in terms of like somebody that is there to save people. He just was looking for his dad. That's family. That's different.
But now he's actually like, oh, something bad is happening. I need to help people. And you know what?
And I did like this moment where he introduces himself as the Flash. I was like, look at that.
That's what Linda was talking about last issue, remember? She's like, you should have a name, the Flash. And he's like, what? Why? Because like you're going public and people need to like identify you, right? And he's like, I don't know about that. But this is him going like, yeah, I get it now, right? Like this is what being a superhero is. Unfortunately, now he runs into Eobard Thawne, where we get, just like Andrew was saying, a pretty damn cool fight scene where essentially Thawne, like, he knows Wally will beat him. He's like, I keep looking, every second that passes, I keep looking a minute in the future. And no matter what, you get back up and you beat me. So I need to, like, really, like, put your ass down. So he just, like, it's not even a fight, really. Zolomon just, like, beats the shit out of Wally to the point, like, like boom, 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 and he's down. Which, not quite the paneling of Hayden Sherman, but I appreciated this from Robles. It feels frantic. It feels fast. Like a lot of stuff is going on. It's confusing to an extent. Like spatially, really good job here, I thought. But from there, Zolomon calls the DEO, says I've got Wally. We cut over to Linda and Grodd, where Grodd out of nowhere just started running off into the middle of Central City towards the giant body horror ring. And that is where we meet the old man, Abracadabra, which is okay. Like, that's what I was saying. He's never been a big Flash, like, pull for me. Okay, he's got, like, even his gimmick doesn't feel like it fits in with the rogues. You know what I mean? Like
it doesn't.
A rogue of fire, of lightning, and of stage magic. Like
right. Like this was the interesting thing for me with this reveal, because everything else that we were seeing in the issue suddenly made sense because it was Abracadabra, and we knew we were told that whoever this old man was, he got an upgrade from Brainiac. So now, okay, so that makes sense that all of this stuff isn't just normal hallucinations. Now it's like all this crazy body horror and all this. Like, okay, that tracks.
Inside out. Yeah.
Yeah, like, okay, all of that now literally makes perfect sense. However, it is still at face value an odd choice. Now, there are some pretty key stories involving mainline Wally and Abracadabra.
And Barry.
But, yeah. But this one is...
It's also like...
a wait and see.
Like, when I think of the DEO, right? Or I think of, like, Arc M, I don't think of, like, a superpower like this. Everything we've seen outside of Zatanna and Zatara have been, like, inborn powers. You know what I mean? Like they feel like they would be a natural, like if they were X-Men, right? Like everything so far feels like it's a mutation. And like this just feels like it's a guy who said, I'm going to be a superpower. Like I don't know. It's the same problem I've always had with Abracadabra, where I just think he's outdated. We don't do stage magicians as much anymore in this day and age. And the ones we do, like, they're not even like Siegfried and Roy anymore. Like, that's outdated. It's like the performers at like the Magic Castle in LA who look like normal people,
right?
And don't do this anymore. So like, I think
you don't even see your David Blaine's anymore, guys.
Yeah, that's really true. We don't get any like magic specials on TV anymore.
Yeah.
So like,
or what's his name? There was that dude in the 2010s.
Chris Angel.
Well, no, there was him too, and he was more in the 2000s. in late 90s. But there was Michael something. I
can see his face. I could not tell you his name. I can see it right in my freaking view.
Like he had a fun show, like a really fun show, and I would watch it all the time because I was like, well, that's genuinely fascinating. But you don't see anything like that anymore. Like that's just not a thing people are interested in.
Right, and like even to that point, like even when they're not going for like top hat, black tie.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't like. I hate that I have to say this. I wish it was any other way, fellas. But like, this look really only appeals like to us when it's on women, when it's on Zatanna. It's not a look anymore. You know what I mean?
It definitely still does when it's on Zatanna, as long as it's not drawn by the artist that drew Batman Full Moon.
Fat, barefoot. Oh my god, I just can't. They were at a fancy restaurant. Bruce Wayne rented out the entire. Shut up. Go away. But yeah, so like, I don't like. Okay, I get it. It just everything that like is going on because of Abracadabra is crazy, and I'm here for it. And it's just like I don't really care about Abracadabra. It's still like the issue's still great to me. I'm still really happy with where we're going with Absolute Flash. I just don't care about could not make me care. You know what I mean? Like just could not make me care. I kind of wish they used Zatara and they linked it back to Kale.
And then it would kind of link. Well, because they already name drop Wonder Woman in this issue, right? So that could have connected the universe a little bit more
and
even further, right?
In that one issue, I think it was an Absolute Wonder Woman where Kale's like playing chess with like a board of the heroes. Because remember, you and I were like, what is Wally doing there? Like, what possible use is he going to have here, right? Like, okay, there's Green Lantern. Okay, there's the Trinity. Okay, there's Manhunter, who's going to be weird, but at least he can like get into your brain and stuff. Like, what is Wally doing here? And now he's coming onto the board. But I remember that was the point where you and I were like, huh? But yeah,
because at that point he hadn't done anything.
He hadn't done anything, and he's just starting to do something. But I'm excited. I want to see more of this. Like this is kind of what I wanted out of our Absolute Flash. I just wish it was literally anybody else but Abracadabra. Like this, even Abracadabra as an expression is like gone, right? Like genuinely, I can't.
More people are here's how you know it's as an expression gone. More people are probably at this point, and I'm not just saying this because I'm a fan of the franchise. More people across the world, normies, are probably more familiar with Avada Kedavra from Harry Potter, which was meant to be a play off of Abracadabra, than they are literally familiar with Abracadabra.
Honestly, I think that's a really, really, really good point. Like politics and everything is like, yeah, I genuinely think that's a stronger pop culture like point, right? Like touch point. Yeah, that's crazy. That means like if I follow that to the logical conclusion, the Absolute Abracadabra should have been like a genuine Harry Potter parody, right? Like. It should be Voldemort.
Now I'm disappointed. Now I wish they had kind of like just slightly, because it's Warner, right? So they have some ties there. Right. So make it just give him.
They wouldn't have to worry
even
about
like 10%. Well, they would need a Rowling's estate sign, but like give him like 10% theming visually of Voldemort.
Right here.
Yeah, and you're golden.
And I would be way scared. It would be way scarier. But
yeah, that hairline, man, that doesn't make you scary. That just makes you look kind of sad.
Sad and like decrepit old man instead of like scary vampire old man, right? Like like Rip Van Winkle over Dracula is what I'm getting. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, I would have. This is one of those designs I would have tried to keep more of, at least in the face, mainline DCU Abracadabra. So with you don't have to go all the way out to like 6 inches outside of his face with the mustache, right? But keep the El Diablo.
I mean, he's got it.
Because
He does have it. It's just not as
kind of. It's just super scraggly.
It's not super pronounced. It's not like
instead of it looking sinister and intimidating, he just looks unwashed.
Yeah.
He just looks like somebody that needs a bath and probably some oil or cream for maintaining his beard.
He's like
he
Vermin.
looks like somebody his beard probably smells.
Oh, yeah, like he reminds me of like Vermin plus Vulture, like mashed together.
For anybody out there that is either not old enough to know or has never attempted to grow facial hair, you want to not just wash your beard or your goatee or mustache, you want to treat it with either like oils or creams or balms that like maintain
its hair. Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, it'll get sweaty. It'll get smelly.
It gets gross.
And when it looks
hard,
like scraggly like that, that's usually indicative of it probably smells.
And it's a sign on you, right? Like, oh, you can't take the 3 seconds to make sure you don't have like hairs going in 7 different directions or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, where's your life? Like, where are you with your life right now?
Yeah,
I mean?
exactly.
But
you look homeless, abracadabra.
And like I don't like. They didn't like lean into too much. Like, I feel like maybe there was a juxtaposition they were going for with the classic, like black tie magician look, and then the scraggly like decrepit. But I feel like they didn't.
I think they would have had to lean in one direction or the other more. Right, pick one. So like,
one of them.
Either make him look a lot more sinister and cleaned up. So like I was saying with the cleaner El Diablo, long, more pointed and kempt, goatee.
And then, like, get rid of the hair. Yeah.
Get rid of the hair in the back that looks ridiculous, or lean into the more like unkempt version of it. And so now if you're going to do that, now your tuxedo, it needs to be a little more raggedy, a little more tattered. Put some holes chains. Maybe in the hat.
Yeah. Oh, dude, put a hole in the bottom. That would be an amazing visual. Or like in the top bottom, right? Like,
put a hole in the bottom and even have, just for fun, have Grodd's legs sticking out of it or something like that, right? Like, you could have done a lot of things, but yeah.
Whoa.
But instead, you tried to have your cake and eat it too, and it doesn't work here.
It's like Ultimate Black Panther, right? Like, we know what you were trying to do. You were trying to put a new spin on it, but you didn't do enough new, and it just feels done. So, obviously, I think you and I are all, as always, open to seeing if they do something crazy cool with him. But just if you were to, like, you come to us and you go, would you boys like to read a Flash story? Gee, mister, yeah. What if do you want it to star one of his main villains? Oh boy, do you want it to be Abracadabra?
Who? Like, that's what you're gonna get out of most people.
Yeah,
is the fact of the matter,
we're just gonna
which
leave.
is kind of sad.
Like, nope. It is kind of sad. But
like,
again,
Abracadabra only has a couple of like big stories that he's a part of, and to be fair, they are pretty important and good stories. But
it's
like,
honestly, it's like the Vulture. The Vulture has a lot of good stories. He's an iconic part of the Rogues Gallery. What is left?
But you don't consider
him anymore. Like,
you don't consider him an important, or not necessarily not an important, but like,
like he showed up as Tombstone's.
He is the
attack dog.
Peter goes, all right, I'll put you down again, old man. Like,
he's one of the villains I always describe as like stage 1 villains, right? Where like in the movie they go after them and then they tell them like, oh, I'm actually working for the Joker, right? Like Scarecrow in Dark Knight Rises, or no, that's a bad example because he was on his own. It's all crazy. I don't know. Let's not get into movies. Now we're just going to go on a complete tangent. But, Andrew, any final words on our issue of the week? What the hell?
No more words, other than I'm just shocked that this was my book of the week.
Keep it up.
But hey, you know what? It would sound like more of a discredit to call it the book of the week just because I was disappointed with the Queen in Black books.
I don't think that's
While
what you're
yes,
saying,
that
though.
is part of it.
Yeah, I don't think that's what you're saying.
That is part of it. It also genuinely is getting better. Like, I'm actually finally here for it. Like, the last 3 issues, I was like, all right, I'm kind of getting here now. Like, I'm enjoying this. And now this was a good issue.
And that's what I was.
And that's what I want.
I think you, I think you like kind of verbalized what I was trying to get at in terms of its quality. Is like, we have books sometimes where you go, oh, that was a good issue or two, and then it sinks back down. And Andrew and I have a couple books like that where we're like, oh, that was cool, not enough for us to go back in. But here it's like steady, consistent, upward quality progress, right? Like, and so I'm in. I don't know. You're all earning a lot of goodwill from me. Lemire, it looks like this is finally what you wanted to write, and I don't know. I'm excited. Let's see what we get in the future. Let's do some variants with that abracadabra red goo noise. I would be completely in for that. But Andrew, we are at 2.5 hours. We went a little long there because we got into our video game talk. But do you have anything else you want to talk about this week before we head out of here?
I don't. I'm glad that this book is finally good. That's
right?
it. That's all I've got.
I'm glad to have a Flash that I actually want to read. Because we don't
for
want to
sure.
read that the mainline one.
It's not Ryan North and Gavin Guidry's, that's for sure. And Gavin Guidry, get off of Twitter.
Yeah.
Get off of Twitter. Stop arguing with people that have like critiques of your art.
Even
like,
if you're
just
right.
Stop.
Even if you're right, just stop.
Here's something that not enough people who are grown-ass adults understand. More often than not, it is far better to choose peace than to choose being right.
And I mean, like, what is that classic idiom where better to be thought a fool, or like better to be like stay silent and be thought a fool than to open your mouth and like
then to open your mouth and remove all doubt.
Yeah, remove all. Yeah, that's what it is. Right, exactly. So like, when has like being a what's the right word, like an insecure little baby about anything ever worked out for somebody? That
has never worked out for anybody in any creative industry ever.
You guys want to see a really great example that maybe we'll talk about next week, but it's currently unfolding and everybody should watch? The end game of that is you will be Rob Liefeld, and that man is actively burning every piece of credibility by the second.
All right.
It is, if you guys haven't seen the saga, Too Long Didn't Read, for years, Rob Liefeld just occasionally gets on one, and he goes to Twitter and he's like, I created cable, I did this, like, it's all me. And then Rich Johnston, a Bleeding Cool, again, we don't necessarily like the guy or the outlet, but credit where credit is due, he found an old column Rob had written where he's like, oh, it wasn't just me, it was me and Jim Lee and I think like the editor of Marvel at the time.
Yeah.
And then Rob went like, nope, that's a completely AI fabricated interview. Fake. I never wrote that. I don't know where you even got that from. And then somebody posted a video of him at a con like 3 years ago saying the exact same story, that he wasn't the sole creator. And then Rob is going, he's just not addressing it. He keeps tweeting about it and people keep sharing it and he just keeps not addressing it. And it's just like, dude, stop.
Man.
Like there was that point like a couple months ago.
There's an individual that acts that very same way, whose name I shall not utter here, but it starts with a J.
Oh, that's not
who acts that very same way. Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Just live and let live. Do your work. Let it speak for yourself. Take your critiques. Some of them will be good. Some of them won't be. But you got to decide that for yourself. Don't you're not the end all be all. Be open to getting an L, I guess. I don't know. You and I are just going to get into like wisdom uncle we're experience corner at this point, right? Like you damn whippersnappers. So, Andrew, how about we start heading out of here?
Let's get out of here.
All right. What do you want to say to the people? What do you want to show the people? What am I bringing up? What am I advertising? Where are we going?
First off, thank you to everybody for hanging out with us, as always, on Foil Variant. This is where you get your intellectually honest comic book talk. It's been an interesting week for comics. It's been an interesting month for comics. Probably more highs than lows, I think, at least of the books that we're reading. Which is a good sign. I would like to see the industry continue to move in a positive direction. But if they end up putting out some stinkers, you can count on us to tell you, because we're not gonna gas up books. Yeah, we're not gonna gas up books just because they came out of whatever writer and whatever artist. If it sucks, it sucks, and if it's good, it's good. But you can count on us for that.
We've been Gail Simone's #1 shooters for about 27 issues now, so anything can happen.
Yeah, though I can't speak for the last 4 issues because I haven't read them yet, but yes, for the most part, yes.
You'll
with only a couple of issues, that were like, I don't know what we're doing here, and
after those, that blip kind of just blips over.
Yeah, that was very brief. That said, also, please check out the Room of Requirement here on YouTube, where Mary and I put out Harry Potter lore videos multiple times a month. We will, once she is here, we'll be ramping that back up further and putting out, I think we're going to be aiming for a video a week between the two of us. So probably somewhere around 3 or 4 videos a month, which will also play in nicely to the Harry Potter HBO Max reboot series, which we're really hoping is good. There have been a lot of really positive things that I've seen about it. A couple that I'm like,
They just got
I'm not thrilled about that.
They just got they got Beast up in there. They got Lex Luthor.
Yeah. Which I think that's a really good casting because I think he's a fantastic actor. So I'm interested to see what he pulls off. And then check out my stuff over in Caffeinated Wolf on Twitch and YouTube, where I stream games a few times a week. I will be streaming, probably do my usual Friday night Lone Wolf late night thing. No, I will likely not be doing that tomorrow. Tomorrow is Mary's birthday. So I will not be doing that tomorrow. Instead, I will maybe switch out Saturday for that. We'll see. I can't make any promises there. But no, tomorrow night will be the exception to my Lone Wolf late night, because it was Mary's birthday and I was be spending time with her instead. Please pre-order Arcstream False Start #1 and #2. Both are available for pre-order on Rippaverse.com right now. Only on Rippaverse.com can you pre-order covers A, B, and C. Cover D, you can also pre-order, believe it or not, through Walmart, Target, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and many other places where books are sold.
Are sold. That's how I closed the last morning MTG, and it's still crazy for me to say it out loud.
I'm not used to that. The second I walk into a Barnes & Noble and actually see my book on the shelf, I'm going to freak out.
I mean, to be fair, there was already that moment where there's a pretty big, for those who don't know, there's a chain out here in Arizona called Bookman's that is a giant, you go, you trade in your stuff, like used media, I guess is probably what you want to call it. And I've gone to check their comic section a lot, and I've seen, what did I see? I saw Isom, on the shelf, and I was like, holy shit, wait a minute. I know that book. So it's always a trip.
Heck yeah. But thank you to everybody that's already pre-ordered that. I appreciate you. Issue 1 is almost done with production. Issue 2 has begun production. I'm extremely excited about it because the art is so fun. It leans.
It does.
It rides that line between Western American comic book art and manga, and I'm so here for it. I'm so excited for it. I'm excited for you guys.
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, it's not just like, hey, we're gonna put big eyes on characters because that's what makes something anime.
Yep. It's as we've talked about. They actually understand what they're doing over there. I mean, it's Andrew. He wouldn't let that fly. Because if he let it fly, I wouldn't let it fly, and I would be annoying until the end of our days. But yeah, guys.
Yes, you would.
Go pre-order Arcstream Fall Start #2. Cover C is the foil cover. You're going to want to get in on that. Final order cutoff. We've got a little while, but October 16th. Lock that into your brains. We'll keep reminding you every stream, whether it is foil variant, Wolf solo streams, morning MTG, good, mad, ugly. Either way, you're going to be hearing about that date. So no excuses, anybody, for forgetting it at all. We better see all of you with your collection photos of every cover. Otherwise, I'm gonna start handing out bands. I don't even care. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But all right. So yeah, as for me, guys, or as for the rest of everything, guys, links down below to everything Andrew was talking about. Arcstream Fall Start #2, Room of Requirement, his own channels. You can also find links to our Discord server. You can find links to my YouTube channel, my Twitch channels, where I have been streaming Magic the Gathering in the mornings. It's just sort of a chill, hangout, come talk, mini GMUs, if you will. So if that's up your alley, come hang out with me. I will definitely be live tomorrow morning, as I am most days throughout the week, except Thursday, because I have to get prepped for this show. So, yeah, obviously, quick scheduling update. We are going to hit the Andrew goes to pick up his beautiful bride section of our schedule. So I believe you're out for 2 weeks or just 1 week?
2. So
2 weeks.
Next week, I will be going there and getting her, finishing packing up her house, driving down here, and then that following week is when we'll be actually doing the ceremony and just spending some days
Together.
doing our thing.
Yeah.
So it'll be the week after that
You'll be back.
we should be back for
Well,
Thursday. Yeah. And that
I'll be
same
going.
week is also that same next week is also Dallas Fan Expo. So that also might be the first convention we get to go to together.
So like you're gonna.
Even if I'll be working.
So what? You're gonna do a
most of
foil. You're gonna come back for one foil variant and then do your thing where you like shoot out like that night to go over to Dallas, or in the morning rather.
No, it'll be. I probably won't have to leave until like almost afternoon, honestly,
Okay,
because
that's
I mean
good. That's
Dallas.
good.
It's like 25, maybe 30 minutes from
Oh.
my apartment to
Never mind.
the convention center to set up. So
Yeah. I'm grateful that you don't have to do your morning one because that one always pains me deeply. But
the
yeah,
early morning travel convention things, that's not as fun.
No,
I don't like those at all.
Not at all. But yeah, guys, so Andrew will be stepping away for the next 2 weeks to go help out Mary, go do lovey-dovey stuff because he's oh so happy. But you'll have me. I will still be going live here on our channel for some Mav solos where we'll talk about the week's releases, anything else that's on your mind. I've watched Lanterns. Maybe we'll talk about Lanterns. I really want Andrew to watch it because for everything else, I think there's a lot to talk about there. Just to talk, like not necessarily good, not necessarily bad, just a lot to talk about. But we'll see. That is for when Andrew comes back to us. Andrew, say goodbye to the good people. Since this
Good people.
You're leaving us.
Love and appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for hanging out with us on Foil Variant. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much for supporting Arcstream, Room Requirement, Good Mav Ugly, all the things that we do here, both collectively and individually. You guys make it fun. So if you don't mind, make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share this out wherever you are able, and we will see you next time.
We will see you soon. We will see you next time. I'm going to start doing a lot more alerts, by the way, guys. I know I'm throwing this on the end here, but when Wolf and I go live respectively, we're going to Foil Variant network it up a little bit and advertise and just try to let you guys know so you can come hang out with one of our two dorky butts. But yeah, that's enough from me. That's enough from Andrew. See you later, guys. Oh, and remember, the solicit copy is the sales copy. You've got to buy the actual issue to find out the real story. With that, take it easy.
Never before have we had greater face a complex, rapidly changing world. Think of it a moment.
It is a world in which supersonic speeds are commonplace. It is a world that has seen the coming of the atomic bomb. It has seen the rise of the total state, the dictator, and the mass man. It is a world of new sensations, new excitements, new distractions.
So much to be learned by so many in so little time.
And I suppose you're here with no agenda, as per usual?
On the contrary, I'm here for comics. What kind of man are you anyway? I'm talking comics and you bring up chicks and romance?